Okay, there you go. I got the back a little bit.
Store's a beautiful store, but I don't like the way that concrete, the way it's on the outside.
What do you like?
Beautiful store, but I just don't like the architecture on the outside. It's my opinion.
The line first order is now ready at main checkout 7. Ruth Lockman, main checkout 7, please.
I was here the first day. I've been here every day since it's been open.
People don't go there, so they're trying to say, well, how can we make them go there? And I always think it's rather interesting that we've really dealt with the problem of the spaces which indeed architects disdain, but people really gravitate to. And so, in a sense, you have to do with what reality dictates. And all of our ideas have come literally out of the American landscape.
I come here from school, you know, just with my friend, and we used to go in the stores and stuff. I mean, I don't buy that, you know, I just like to look around, even though I go in the stores every day. It's okay. Well, I always come in and, you know, just turn it on and just watch one day at a time, you know, the half-hour shows, and, like, go out or I do my homework.
No, it's all done at 7:30.
Well, wait, maybe the weather will be on something else. Yeah, there's something else on.
I'd rather have it. Tic-tac-toe.
Passing through suburbia, actually shopping centers are the only things that really stand out. And it's no wonder that people are driven indoors by the blandness of this environment.
What time is Kenny coming?
Public art really is, in a sense, a kind of media.
Because you're friendly with all those vegetables and everything, and, you know, you're so picky.
It's really funny. There's one commercial I do like. No, I like this. The other day wasn't a good movie.
The Towson is not a New York. It's not a California. Everybody's cluttered and everybody's trying to get in front of somebody else.
If you had a big, large sign sitting outside of something, it'd be like a commercial.
Guarantees your premium.
No, this wouldn't forget it.
Towson has developed because of the turnpike. One man has a piece of commercial, and you have another man wants a piece of commercial. He's granted his commercial. And the man next door, if he's denied his commercial, then the court will say, well, he should have his zoning. It's called a domino effect because it goes on and on until you get to another major intersection, and then you have the same effect to your next major intersection. And that's how most of your strip zoning came to be.
We're always asked to do real troubleshooting situations.
These banks happen to be in a shopping center.
Well, what did he say? He said something, what was it that
Well,
stacks of...
and I told him, well, that's pretty much how the seed of this concept started. They're just working out of mobile homes and now it's starting a bank.
Yeah,
so I thought, well, maybe that's the kind of thing that we need from him, not the physical reality of stacks of money.
The kind of imagination that they've already exercised to put a bank in a trailer.
It was done to be imaginative.
No, but I'm saying it's just, it's expedience, but, you know, what is it? Isn't, you know, poverty in a sense the core of invention? I mean, you know, it's in a sense, they started with very minimal terms, and you know, that's been our premise since the beginning, is what can you do? You know, is how to reduce an idea down to where the idea is paramount and the design is not overpowering. I mean, you have to know it's a bank in order to get that kind of tension between the idea and what it is. I mean, no one ever doesn't know that our buildings are shopping centers. I mean, there's not any lack of recognition because everyone knows that typology.
Stories and more on November 19th. Portion is sponsored by Germicidal Center.
It's not that I love it. It's maybe a love-hate context. Where would
American literature be without the South. You know, I mean, think of how many writers have addressed the kind of neuroses and problems and conflicts of the South on one level or other. And it's created a very rich imagery. I don't think you have to love the conflicts or love commercialism or love the banality, but it's much richer in its implications as a raw material.
Front of the building. We don't like it. No purpose whatsoever, you know. No, if you're gonna, or if you're gonna have it suspended, why have the entrances?
I'm hoping they're going to get in Hummels. I've been to some of the other Best Product stores, but not one of the new ones. Of course, the front is the impressive part. The business that I'm in, I work as a news reporter in the construction industry, so I've heard of the architect before. I like very liberal things. Of course, this is a pretty liberal facade out here. It's going to help this whole shopping center, which needed it. It was just about gone. And it's revolutionized it. I wish I could come to work here, as a matter of fact. My name is Buddy Alves. I work for Dodge Reports. I don't know if you ever heard of it.
Oh, sure, I know Dodge Reports very well. We get them.
I put the report out locally on this particular job. What made you decide on the facade like that? Was it anything from...
You know, they're mostly kind of psychological anyway.
Yes.
You take something that people are predisposed to, such as the kind of normalcy of a circumstance.
Right.
And then just take one thing and change the reality. You know?
Anything to do with the way the sun comes up and how it's going to hit on that...
Oh, absolutely. Oh, of course. Because you see it most of the day. It's really spectacular. You come up the hill, you know, and it's against the sky. It's iconographic. It's really not, you see, you know, it's like people are always sending pictures of, I don't know, buildings in funny shapes. And that's not what we're about at all.
That's true.
Absolutely the opposite. We're about, you know, subconscious ideas.
Actually had some fender bumps. People would stop, put the brakes on, and they'd jam into each other right over there on Goucher Boulevard. And I get comments still from different people when I found out I had anything to do with it.
Is that right?
And comments are usually, well, I don't know whether they're complimentary or not, but they are really. And it's an ordinary building. You wouldn't even hear about it. It's up, and that's the end of it.
What keeps this from falling on me? Is there something right up inside there in the middle?
Yeah, there's steel all the way through it.
Is that right?
Every 5 feet, you have steel columns hanging on it.
Well, it's, you know, it's more of an artwork than it is a building. I think it goes beyond that. I don't know how you feel about that.
Well, it's really a straight wall tilted.
That looks flirtery too, you know?
Uh-huh. Yeah, okay. See that?
That is Alamanda's. Them's all right.
Alamanda's, they're okay? How much
Right.
is it?
They're $8. I live in Hialeah, you know.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you live in Hialeah. Oh, you'll hear a lot about it pretty soon.
I'm gonna walk up there and say, hey, y'all know who sold y'all these plants?
Absolutely.
Well, you're gonna have to go there and take care of it.
Take a picture. Oh, I could. Why don't you hire me?
When they die, you're gonna hear from us.
Huh? That's the nice thing about it. See, I don't have to take the bitch, and then when the office gets that.
The other.
This is what I'm telling you, stay at a low profile, but it grows wild, and it curves like this, and it don't get too hot. And when it's together, when you put it together in a bed like this, it's really beautiful, and it's green.
We should have a unifying, something unify the whole. All right, let's get this one. This is 15 and 16.
Do you think that's gonna like break the glass or anything like that, or they're gonna keep it?
I don't think so. And
This won't break the glass.
All right.
How tall is this tree?
It's gonna go almost to the top of that
That's
glass.
about 20
It'll be-
feet. That's about 20 feet of
15
it.
or 20 feet.
It's not a royal. It's in the family of a royal palm.
Yeah.
A royal palm grows tall,
Okay, this is what
but
you don't
large,
say when
very
it's
large.
These big trees, they're gonna have to use a crane with them.
Right.
Then run
Because they'll be permanent there, wherever spot we put them down.
He thought of the bigger palms here, and then working their way down. And eventually, we're hoping we'll all join together. So it'll be like a total rainforest situation.
This is the last link of the chain. I spend all the time in the road. James has spent most of the time in the office. Also, we talk about an idea, and then he has a vision about it of just picking up a piece of paper and putting it, making it a physicality versus just a concept. Okay, so I will say he's the idealistic end of it. I am the pragmatic end of it.
No, that's
I think we're talking about 12 inches of sand, really.
What's the final layer?
We're going to have to put some gravel in there. We say stone, the kind of stone. Up to here should be no more sand. From here, we need at least.
All right,
fine.
fine. All right, from here to here would be the biggest. Next layer, and what else? So you can do it.
And to mix some of the stones.
Mix the stones, so you don't have this dead look.
I understand.
You see what I'm saying?
Okay.
So they rushed it. They pushed the stone in.
Right.
They have to take the stone out because to give a natural kind of a strata look. As you can see, the line of the sand and the stone is too straight. Okay, kind of like nature really does.
One 9600 South Dixie Highway.
Dixie
Right.
Highway? Dixie?
Dixie Highway, yeah.
There ain't nothing up here. All right. Another hard day.
Every art has a subject matter, with the possible exception of architecture, which unfortunately, traditionally, has, at least in the 20th century, has been its own subject matter. Our subject matter happens to be the ingredients of consumer culture. You know, that's it.
And people seem to confuse the fact that because our work communicates to the public which uses it, that it's somehow an extension of the evils of consumerism.
The real role of the architect is to be where the people are and in part of their culture. And the strip is a culture of America. There is a kind of vitality in the American strip. It is, in fact, our marketplace. The American dream is really embodied in the consumer cultures. You cannot escape it.
Everything's become so sort of repetitious and bland along the strip.
But see, the funny thing is there's little decorative details that indicate that they might be interesting. Look at this Howard Johnson over here. I mean,
symbol are things like purity and
cleanliness. So that has a lot to do with the sensibility of the strip. I mean, people like Howard Johnson did, in fact, define that.
The idea is to get the right effect for this, the architect. He's trying to get a spray up against this here glass. It's a beautiful effect. It's like looking out on a rainy day, you know, from the inside. It's something new. It's something you don't do every day. It's entirely different, even though we're plumbers. Vernon, we're ready. One guy down there.
Hey, got any more leaks?
I think it's going to turn out real
Huh?
good. Yeah, he's really
washing
doing
rocks out as you're cleaning the pipe along the
It's
rock.
doing a real good job.
Going on up.
Oh, yeah. What I ought to do is give it a little bang-bang. You know, disturb it a little bit.
Yeah. Just keep on hitting the rocks and then roll the rocks all the way out the end of the line.
20 years ago, 30 years ago, they built a box, and they put the plumbing in it. Now they ought to have something that looks, you know, up to date. It's like a Cadillac without chrome. You gotta have it. It's like a woman without lipstick. You gotta have the chrome.
It took at least 15 minutes to put the umbrella tree in, and about the same amount to put the palm in down in the end. That's with the crane.
The beginning till the end, just one different change after another, you know, people with different ideas getting together. Yeah. And we had to put rocks in, take them back out.
You know, like these architects, you could talk to them. You could actually talk to them. They're always open for ideas.
It was never a total idea at once. It all built up. Like they'd say one thing, they have one total design, and they'd change it. They had plain colored stone to go in.
Right.
They changed that to the Chattahoochee, and then the colored rock going up, and then solid rock across. They changed everything.
We formed that sidewalk 3 times over. They're perfectionists, you know, and it has to be just that right, otherwise they're not going to do it. Yeah. Every time I pass by in a Palmetto, you know, it's going to be something for me to look at and say I worked on, for the rest of my life.
You try to tell everybody about it. Have you seen the building I'm working on?
A lot of our
friends go by
friends
and take a look at it, because a lot of people drive the Palmetto to work. I tell them, look over.
I don't even know what's inside, so I'm gonna go in and look.
What made you come here?
Because I saw the water running.
That's exactly what's happening. In order to expedite putting the Chattahoochee on, they cut it short by putting it in.
Yes, they put this up in front.
Yes.
They put something on the
I think it's terrific.
like cover it up.
So original.
Take this out. And it's beautiful. See exactly where the water's coming and what the water's coming. We're going to put this coming from.
Don't even drop.
No, that's not fair.
It's coming along. I just invited Mildred to come over for cocktails, for champagne and caviar.
Michelle, come on over here. Hi, Bill.
Part of seeing the buildings, you know, in real life to see how it comes up. Good use of cars, but bury them under the ground.
New wave architecture. The public should always be aware of the importance of the architecture in the community, the environment.
It's funny that they did put them in the rural areas, though, because you wouldn't think that they would be that advanced to take something like that as part of their architecture.
Okay, thank you.
I think there's a place for humor in architecture.
using different disciplines to put together a building like this. It's just it shows that we're too fragmented in our society. We're too specialized in the way we look at things. I love it. The more jarring, the better.
Damn doors don't work.
Notice the key lock, though.
It's got a nice breeze, but it's not heated. And you know,
South
another
Florida,
5
this is
degrees.
open
That's
area.
right, the openness. I think.
Clay?
Beautiful. Real nice. I like this one better than the other one. It's important for them to build them really.
Oh, yes.
Otherwise, if you see only drawings, you think it's a utopia. They are much better seen from the reality. No, not so big. There are groups who try to do this kind of thing, but most of them they remain drawing.
Only in Florida.
I was reading an article recently that it's getting more and more difficult for the small inventor. Inventiveness is declining in this country. Everyone wants to play it safe. Here you have now in this shopping center the mansard roof, which is blanketed suburbia. I think that the developers of the strips misinterpret what people really respond to, and through the repetition they destroy the success, because it all becomes completely bland and anonymous.
Well, look at a shopping center like this. I mean, banality is not just in its structure; it's in its whole attitude. There's nothing to say, absolutely nothing to say. It's mindlessness taken to a degree that just, knows no bounds. It's hard to discuss this kind of thing because, in a way, what is there to discuss? Ironically, of course, what we do is we take this very banality and use it as a trigger to our own ideas. One thing about our buildings, for example, that I think people do like is the anti-institutional quality. Mm-hmm. Don't you feel that?
Yes,
I mean,
definitely.
The fact that, somebody said in Texas, that's what I've always wanted to do, kick the shit out of one of those buildings. As a thread that runs through our society, that a tradition for invention, for the maverick, for example, the Western film is still so popular because someone with an idea or an ideal against society, and the ideal wins out. People always ask, what about the telephone wires and the billboards? And again, I think it's part of that facing reality. That's part of the subject matter.
Yeah,
if you're going to clean it up and make a monument out of it, then you're going to destroy the essence of our work.
I like the other ones in the other states. The one with the, with that corner tilted like that. But this one, Well, I don't see the connection. In the other ones, you could see, you know, the cuteness of it, but this isn't cute. Bye-bye.
They never thought of a building being different before in their lives. You know, everything is the same. One woman didn't see it at all. So what do you think of what it looks like? She says, what? I said, the front of the building. She says, right, I didn't see it. That's what I'd like, is for that land to be continually vacant so that people across the way can have a view of the sculpture all the time.
If you're a happy shopper, at least they bought something. Is this your first time?
Yes, sir. No, it isn't.
Oh,
we were here before without him. Yeah, we brought him along to see it this time.
We come up from Florida Keys
just to see it. We had told him about it. No, we were here.
Oh.
Really?
Did you see what? How long did it take you to get here?
2.5 to 3 hours.
You traveled 3 hours
Just to see the building.
No, and buy. I was just going to say, it doesn't look like I just looked at the building, does it?
No.
It's an ambiguity. It could become obsolete by people understanding it perfectly. This condition of memory, or the condition of, yes, I know that space because I know that building.
Well, good morning, everyone. I guess that's my cue. I'm here. Believe me, I'm here. Took me a few moments to get here, but I am here, people, and I am ready. I'm ready to go. I don't know where we're going, but I'm ready to go there. It is Monday. It is another fine Monday here in Joshua Tree Land. Move some stuff around here so I don't look so conspicuous. There you go, people. So hi, how are you? Thank you for joining me. I am safely, successfully connected. I'm online. I'm ready to roll. I'm here. I got the girls behind me here. Yes. Today is Tatum O'Neal. Every Monday this season so far, we've been looking at the kids that I remember from my childhood. The kids that kind of helped to raise me, really. Big brothers and sisters from back in the day. None of these people know who I am, but they have a special place in my life. So that's why we're discussing these particular people every morning. And behind me, we have there's Tatum O'Neal and Christy McNichol. We're discussing Tatum O'Neal this morning, but I I dare say that we shall probably get to Jimmy and Christy McNichol sometime in the near future. So once again, thank you for joining me. It is the 16th of February 2026, and it is about time to jump back into the past. We have a busy morning scheduled, so we kind of need to jump right into things as I busy myself putting things together this morning. I'm a little bit behind, but I'm here. All right, I hope everyone can hear me. Let me go ahead and say good morning in my usual fashion with a little bit of peace and love. And I am successfully there. I like to see my screen set up on my live monitor. That makes me feel like I know what I'm doing. I'm clueless. I just make this up as I go along, people. This morning we had grand opening, and that was pretty neat. I believe it was from 1978, and it was about architecture. It was an architecture education film, and we saw 3 very unique and very different Best buildings. I think Best became Best Buy, if I'm not mistaken. And their buildings are still some standout buildings, even though they're all very similar to each other now. The building faces themselves still kind of remain unique. So let's see. What have we got here? And if you'd like to see grand opening, it will be coming to you at noon on the 23rd. So that's a week from today at noon. And you can watch that on my channel in its entirety, all by itself. All right, well, it looks like the schedule calls for Tatum O'Neal. You know, before Tatum O'Neal became the patron saint of every kid who ever rolled their eyes at an adult, she was just this tiny little sharp-eyed comet streaking across the early 70s, leaving a trail of confused grown-ups and stunned critics in her wake. Hollywood didn't quite know what to do with her. Here was this little slip of a kid who could outact half the town before she learned long division. Did she ever learn long division? I never did. One minute, she's sitting on a porch in Kansas, hustling Bibles. One minute, she's sitting on a porch in Kansas, hustling Bible salesmen. The next thing, she's throwing curveballs past a boy twice her size, all with that look that said, yeah, I know I'm good. You want to make something of it? And the best part is, she did it all before most of us figured out how to work a rotary phone. Oh. Let's see, where am I? I'm so excited this morning. Tatum didn't just arrive. She kicked the door open, took the Oscar, and asked what else was on the menu. All right, so let's get into Tatum O'Neal here and her early career, because we're not going to go into anything past the 80s, and we're not going to get nitty gritty. I don't do that. I just like to introduce you to an actor or actress. It's up to you to do the work and investigate more and actually watch the pictures, watch the TV shows, watch the commercials, watch the stuff. I'll try to bring you some best I can. Now, before we get completely into this Tatum O'Neal stuff here, I want to let you know that tomorrow's show will involve the pre-show. So if you want to be fully invested in tomorrow's episode, you need to start watching at 4:15 a.m. because we're going to watch a pre-show that is very much a part of the entire episode. If you don't watch the pre-show, you're going to kind of be a little bit confused. But we are going to watch an entire episode of Donahue, starting at 4:15 a.m. And then, no more than then, we are going to go from there right into discussing Donahue and his guests, who are the Bubblegum Digest news kids from the 1970s, and their special guest, Mason Reese, the child actor. All right, so let's do Tatum O'Neal, part 1. Let's take a little stroll back to the early 1970s, when Hollywood was still shaking off the last of its old studio perfume and trying to figure out what the new decade wanted from it. I don't know. You had the grown-ups in the business muttering about the youth market as if they were some mysterious tribe living in the Neil Hills, right? And you had the kids themselves, real kids, suddenly stepping into the spotlight with a kind of natural ease that made the adults look like they were trying too hard. And right in the middle of all of that, like a sparkler lit on a broad daylight, came a little girl named Tatum O'Neal. Now, Tatum didn't just wander into the movies the way some kids do, with a cute smile and a lucky break. No. She was born into the business, like a kid born into a traveling circus. Her father, Ryan O'Neal, was already a rising star, handsome, charming, and carrying that California boy swagger that made casting directors lean forward in their chairs. Her mother, Joanna Moore, was an actress too, though her story was a harder one, full of shadows and struggles that would echo through Tatum's life in ways no child should have to carry. Exactly. Been there, done that. Hollywood can be a bright place, but it casts a long shadow, and the O'Neal family lived in both at the same time. Tatum grew up in a world where cameras were always nearby, even when they weren't rolling. Let's go ahead and move down to bring you some images of Tatum here. There we go. She had a brother, Griffin. She and her brother, Griffin, bounced between parents, between houses, between moods, between the good days and the bad ones, and in the middle of all that, someone, maybe Ryan, maybe a producer, maybe fate itself, looked at this sharp-eyed little girl and said, you know, she might be something special. And then came Paper Moon. Now, if you weren't around in '73, let me tell you, Paper Moon hit the culture like a cool breeze on a hot day. Peter Bogdanovich was at the height of his powers, shooting in black and white like he was daring the world to complain about it. And there was Ryan O'Neal, playing a con man with a smile you could hang laundry on. But the real magic, the lightning in the bottle, was Tatum, 9 years old, sharp as a tack, with a deadpan delivery that could cut through steel. She didn't act like a kid trying to act. She acted like someone who'd been watching the world very closely and had already figured out half of it. When she marched into that movie with her little hat and her big attitude, audiences just fell for her. They believed her. And that's the trick, isn't it? Believability? You can teach a kid to hit a mark, but you can't teach them to be real. Tatum was real in a way that made adults around her look like they were working too hard. And then came the Oscar. The youngest competitive winner in American history. 9 years old. Let me tell you, the grown-ups in Hollywood didn't know what to do with themselves. Some were thrilled, some were jealous, some were muttering into their cocktails about child labor, and some were just trying to figure out how a fourth grader had outacted half the town. But there she was, holding that golden statue like it was the most natural thing in the world. But then, the thing about But here's the thing about early success, especially for a kid. It's like giving someone the keys to a car before they've learned how to cross the street. The applause is loud, the lights are bright, and everyone tells you you're special, but no one tells you what to do when the lights go off. And for Tatum, the lights didn't just go off, they flickered. They flickered because the grown-ups around her were flickering too. But for now, in this first chapter, let's leave it here. And a tiny powerhouse with a big future, standing on stage with an Oscar in her hand, not yet knowing what the road ahead would be, not yet knowing that the road ahead would be as bumpy as it was bright. Man. That's the thing about the past. It always looks clearer in the rearview mirror. But the truth is, even the brightest stars cast complicated shadows. All right, we're going to go to a break here. No, we're not. No, this is the wrong day for that. We are going to keep discussing Tatum, because when we do start going to breaks, we are going to watch a couple of, I think we've got 3 trailer breaks, and we're going to talk about 5 of her movies this morning. So we're just going to keep on pushing through until about, another 15 minutes or so. So we could get through most of this here. Keep your sunny side up. Pardon me. I love her early movies. The way she went from Paper Moon to Bad News Bears. Just awesome. All right, here we go. Let's do this one. And just keep moving along. I think I've got 4 parts here. And then I've got some paper on her movies. And I think we're going to have a lot of time at the end of today's show to hang out. So that'll be cool. If there's anyone there, good morning. Thank you for joining me. We're talking about Tatum O'Neal this morning. Now, if you're watching television or going to the movies in the mid-1970s, you know that Hollywood had a particular fondness for kids who could talk like adults. Oh, you know what I didn't do? I didn't loop it. All right. Hey, all right, so I can let that play for a little bit. I gotta be sure to loop the next one to remind me. Hollywood had a particular fondness for kids who could talk like adults. Smart-mouthed, quick-witted, a little cynical. And that was the flavor of the day. And nobody served it up better than Tatum O'Neal. After Paper Moon, she wasn't just a child star. She was the child star. The one everyone wanted. The one every casting director circled in red ink. And then came the Bad News Bears. Ah, yes, 1976, a year when America was celebrating its bicentennial, wearing too much polyester and discovering that a bunch of foul-mouthed little leaguers could steal the country's heart. Walter Matthau, bless him, was the perfect grumpy counterweight to Tatum's cool confidence. She played Amanda Wurlitzer, the tomboy pitcher with the golden arm and the attitude to match. And let me tell you, she didn't just hold her own with Matthau. She matched him beat for beat. That's not easy for a grown actor, let alone a kid. The Bad News Bears wasn't just a baseball movie. It was a snapshot of America. Messy, funny, a little inappropriate, and full of characters who felt like real people you actually knew. And Tatum was the glue. She brought her heart to the chaos, grounding the whole thing in a performance that felt lived in, not performed. Kids loved her because she was cool. Adults loved her because she was real. And Hollywood loved her because she could carry a picture without breaking a sweat. But while the cameras were rolling smoothly, life behind the scenes wasn't. The O'Neal household was a storm cloud with occasional sunbreaks. Ryan and Tatum had a relationship that could swing from affectionate to explosive in the time it took to yell cut. There were fights, there were reconciliations, there were long silences, and there were moments when the whole thing felt like a movie nobody wanted to watch. And her mother, Joanna Moore, was struggling with addiction, drifting in and out of Tatum's life like a ghost who couldn't decide whether to stay or go. Hollywood loves a success story, but it also loves a tragedy, and the tabloids were already circling. You could feel it in the air, that uneasy sense that the little girl who'd won an Oscar might be carrying more weight than any child should. But she kept working. She kept showing up. She kept delivering performances that made people forget, for a moment, that she was just a kid trying to navigate a world built for adults. She did Nickelodeon. She did International Velvet. And she did a string of roles that let her stretch her wings a little. But the truth is, Hollywood didn't quite know what to do with her as she grew up. They loved her as a sharp-tongued kid. They weren't sure how to handle her as a teenager. And that's the story. And that's a story as old as the business itself. But for now, in this second chapter, let's leave her on the pitcher's mound, squinting into the sun, throwing fastballs past boys who underestimated her, because in that moment, she wasn't a troubled kid or a tabloid target. She was a star, and she earned every bit of it. Oh, Bad News Bears. That's one of those movies that still sticks with me. I have the Bad News Bears box set on DVD. I even have one of their Bad News Bears movies on 16mm film. The ones that mean the most to me stay with me and actually stay in my life. All right, let's continue with Tatum O'Neal, Part 3. By the time the 1980s rolled in, with their neon lights, big hair, and even bigger expectations, Tatum O'Neal was no longer the little girl with the Oscar. She was a young woman trying to figure out who she was without the applause. And let me tell you, that's a tricky business. Hollywood has a way of freezing people in time, like a photograph that refuses to age. But real life doesn't work that way. Real life keeps moving, whether you're ready or not. I have the same trouble with my family. They see me as that person, and they won't let me go beyond that. Tatum's teenage years were a tug of war between opportunity and chaos. She had talent. That was never in question. But she also had a family that could make a soap opera look like a church picnic. Ryan O'Neal, for all his charm and charisma, was not exactly Father of the Year. Their relationship was a roller coaster with no seatbelts. One minute they were close, and the next they were at war. And the press loved it. They ate it up like popcorn. She did some television work, some film roles, but nothing quite captured the lightning she had as a child. And that's not her fault. That's Hollywood's blind spot. They don't always know how to let a child star grow up. They want the kid version forever, even when the kid is long gone. And then there were the personal struggles. Addiction, turbulent relationships, public fights, private pain, the kind of things that make headlines but don't tell the whole story. Because behind every scandal is a human being trying to make sense of their own life. And Tatum, like so many of us who grew up too fast under too many lights, was trying to find her footing in a world that had never given her a chance to stand still. But here's the thing. She didn't disappear. She didn't fade away. She kept working. She kept trying. She kept showing up, even when the world expected her to fall apart. And that's something worth saying out loud, Because resilience doesn't always look glamorous. Sometimes it looks like getting up in the morning and trying again. Boy, don't I know that. The 80s were her golden era, but they were her, pardon me, the 80s weren't her golden era, but they were her proving ground. They were the years when she learned who she wasn't, which sometimes is the first step toward learning who you are. And while the tabloids were busy writing her obituary, she was quietly building the foundation for a comeback that would surprise a lot of people. But we'll get to that. For now, let's leave her in the 80s, a young woman with in a loud decade trying to find her own voice over the noise. I need water. We are going to finish Tatum O'Neal in this first half hour here. And then we'll do a break and watch a trailer. Won't that be fun? Won't that be fun, people? Where are you people? Show me where you are. There's Tatum. I gotta lean over a little bit once in a while. You can see Tatum behind me with Kristen. I should have put the there we go. Can I get in between them? It should be between the girls there. All right. I have one more part that we're going to read about Tatum, and then we're going to talk about 5 of her movies. And I don't know if we're going to get through all of that in the next half hour. But let's get through this. Part 4. Now, as we bring this Monday morning journey through Tatum O'Neal's early life, her first, I don't know, couple decades of acting, let's talk about the long view, the good, the bad, and the downright messy. Because if Tatum O'Neal's story teaches us anything, it's that the past isn't a straight line. It's a maze. It is. It's a freaking labyrinth. And sometimes the only way to get out is to just get through it. By the late 80s and into the years beyond, Tatum began to reclaim her own narrative. She wrote books. She spoke openly about her struggles, the addiction, the family fractures, the pain she carried from childhood. And let me tell you, that takes guts. I'm trying to have my own guts by doing my stuff here. And these kids, they give me inspiration. Okay, I'm going to see. We got guts. It's one thing to act in front of a camera. It's another to stand in front of the whole world and say, here's what really happened. Her relationship with her father remained complicated, sometimes close, sometimes estranged, always layered in the kind of history that doesn't fit neatly into a headline. But she kept trying, she kept reaching, she kept doing the work of healing, even if it wasn't pretty. And here's the part that matters for us, the part that ties the past to the present. Tatum O'Neal's story isn't just about Hollywood. It's about what happens when a child is handed adult responsibilities before they're ready. It's about what fame does to families. It's about what the cost of being exceptional too early. It's about the strength it takes to grow up in public and still find your own way back to yourself. She was a brilliant child actor. She was a troubled teenager. She was a young woman trying to find her own story, and she became an adult who learned how to tell the truth of it all. That's the good, that's the bad, that's the ugly, and that's the human. So as we close the curtain on this look into Tatum O'Neal's early career, picture her as not the little girl with the Oscar or the teenager in the tabloids, but as someone who lived a life that was bigger, harder, and more complicated than most of us will ever know. And she's still here, still standing, still telling her story. And that kid is what the past is really about. Not the shine, not the scandal, but the survival. That's Tatum O'Neal. And we are going to go to a break. And when we get back from this break, we are going to talk about Paper Moon and the Bad News Bears and Nickelodeon and this movie back here, Little Darlings. Don't let the title deceive you. And one of her last movies from the 1980s, Certain Fury. And that's going to be cool. So let's go to a trailer break here. And when we get back, we'll be checking it out. All right, so stick around. Peace. I'll be back in a flash. Fade, Mike.
Your sunny side up, up, high.
Kansas, 1936. Out of the darkest days of the Depression comes the adventures of two unlikely con artists, Mose Prey and his companion, Addie Loggins.
Better go slow. And hurry. Uh-oh.
I heard you was a bootlegger.
Oh, no, sir. Not me, friend. Must be some mistake.
Ryan O'Neal is Mose Prey. His most challenging film role.
Keep rolling. I got it. Keep rolling.
Tatum O'Neal, daughter of Ryan O'Neal, is Addie Loggins, her very first film role.
Howdy.
Howdy.
Get the phone.
Well, tell me, Jack, what have you been doing with yourself?
Last night I was invited over to Fred Allen's apartment for dinner.
This is the Peter Bogdanovich production, Paper Moon. Or, as P.T. Barnum put it, there's a sucker born every minute.
Yes? Afternoon, ma'am. I was wondering if Mr. Bates might be at home.
Mr. Bates is dead.
My name is Prey, Kansas Bible Company. I'm just here to deliver this Bible that Mr. Bates ordered.
Bible?
Bible? What kind of Bible? What company you say you're from?
Just when you think you got it made. Just ain't made, is it?
Say it's only a paper moon sailing over a cardboard sea.
You crazy?
Hey!
Keep your sunny side up. Keep it up.
Well, tell them at the time you almost got thrown in jail, Miss Trixie.
Oh, my God.
Stop them people! Hey, there's bootleggers left!
Keep rolling. I got it. I'm gonna hit him!
He can jump! Don't slow down!
Don't you go making the decisions. I make the decisions. All you gotta do is look like a pretty little girl. Shooting at us!
But then listen, keep going! You met my mom in a barroom.
Just because a man meets a woman in a barroom don't mean he's your pa. Eat your Coney Island. You don't have to worry. I ain't about to leave some poor little child stranded in the middle of nowhere. I got scruples, too, you know. You know what that is, scruples?
No, I don't know what it is, but if you got him, you sure bet they belong to somebody else.
We ain't gonna make it.
You're gonna ruin it, ain't you?
Hang on!
Don't miss this one. From the maker of The Last Picture Show and What's Up, Doc?
You won't be sorry.
All right, we're back. Good morning, Cassie. Thank you for joining us. Us, I mean the royal we, of course. Yeah, the royal we. Oh, piss boy. Have you seen Paper Moon? If you haven't, you should. It is really, really good. It is a classic. It is done in the 70s, so it shouldn't be black and white, but Peter Bogdanovich, you know. So let's talk about Paper Moon. You know, every once in a while, a picture comes along that feels like it wasn't made so much as it showed up. Like it wandered in off a highway with dust in its shoes and a story to tell. Paper Moon is one of those. It's got that Depression-era chill in the air, that black and white honesty that doesn't try to flatter anybody, and at the center of it all, you've got a little girl with a face that could stop a train, and a man who looks like he's been running from one. And somehow, together, they make magic. Now, Peter Bogdanovich, he was on a streak back then. The man had a way of looking at America like it was a photograph he was trying to restore, brushing off the dirt, bringing out the grain, letting the imperfections do the talking. And when he decided to cast Ryan O'Neal and his daughter Tatum, well, that was one of those decisions that either makes you a genius or gets you laughed out of the studio. Turns out, it made him a genius. The thing about Paper Moon is that it's already seen the ending and are just waiting for the rest of us to catch up. Quit it. Okay, so I'm going to assume that we were cut off for just a second, right? There we go. I think we're back now. And let me try to find my place. She cuts. She slices right through the nonsense with that deadpan delivery. And I'm sorry, I have one of my monitors is, there we go. There it is. Okay. I was going to do a whole reboot thing so that I could make sure that I'm live. I'm live. So I'm going to continue. She cuts, she slices right through the nonsense with her deadpan delivery. Those sharp little eyes that look like they've already seen the ending and are just waiting for the rest of us to catch up. I'm waiting for my YouTube to catch up here. And that's the thing that gets you. She's a kid, but she's not playing a kid. She's playing a person, a small person. Sure, but one, a small person, sure, but one who's had to grow up too fast. Been there, done that. Who's learned that the world doesn't hand out kindness for free. Been there, done that. When she sits in that diner and negotiates the price of a Bible like she's closing a business deal, you can't help but laugh. Not because it's cute, but because it's true. Kids in hard times grow up quick. They learn the angles. They learn the tone of voice that gets them taken seriously. And Tatum had that tone down cold. The road they traveled, dusty Kansas highways, little towns with peeling paint and big secrets. It's the kind of America that doesn't exist anymore, except in old photographs and the memories of people who lived through it. Bogdanovich shot it like a love letter to the country that was rough around the edges, but still a heartbeat that you could feel through the soles of your shoes. Pardon me. Every frame looks like it could have been taken by Walker Evans or Dorothea Lange, pardon me. The kind of pictures where nobody smiles unless they mean it, Peanut. And then there's the heart of the thing, that slow, stubborn bond between Moses and Addie. They bicker, they buff, they out-hustle each other, but underneath all road with that determined little stride. Moses yelling after her like he's trying to convince himself he doesn't care. I'm just going to keep going on. I'm back. For some reason, my internet keeps bugging out on me. What are you going to do? What are you going to do, huh? All right, by the time you get to the last shot, Addie marching down the road with that little determined little stride, Moses yelling at her like he's trying to convince himself that he doesn't care. You realize you've been watching a love story the whole time. Not the romantic kind, the human kind. The kind that sneaks up on you when you're not looking. And maybe that's why Paper Moon still hits the way it does. It's a movie about survival, about making do, about finding connection in a world that doesn't hand it out easily. It's about the way people cling together, even when they pretend not to. Cling together, cling to each other. And it's about a little girl who walks into Hollywood, took one look around and said, I can do this better than you. And for 2 hours in 1973, she did. That's Paper Moon. That is Paper Moon. I swear. I was supposed to play these images here while we were doing that. So we'll do that. Because, that's Paper Moon. A con man story with a heart. A father-daughter story with teeth. And a little slice of American memory that feels true, no matter how many years go by. It does. It feels like you're back in the era that he's trying to capture. He really does capture that era. The costumes, the vehicles, the sets, the little things, the old places that he must have gone to find old general stores that are completely packed with old stuff, right? That's craziness. Yeah, it's great movie. You guys have to see it. If you haven't seen Paper Moon, see Paper Moon. Pardon me. I've gulped down my coffee this morning, so forgive me if I keep hiccuping or burping or that kind of stuff, because it's just what happens, okay? We are going to get through probably a couple of more of these of her early projects. Check her out now on Internet Movie Database, IMDb. A lot of people go there now. I remember using IMDb back almost 30 years ago when nobody else knew what the hell it was. And I would talk about it and they go, what the hell are you talking about? I am DB? Who's DB? Totally. But it's all the rage now, I always start trends. She does a lot of work. She's always busy now. For I don't know about right now, but she's been pretty busy. Considering she could have just faded away. Like a lot of people have just faded away. It gets rough and they just fade away. It takes a lot of guts to keep going when it gets rough. Picking yourself up and doing it again. Alright, we're going to get rid of this Paper Moon stuff, yeah. That's it, it's gone, man. It's gone, it's over. It's good. We're going to move on to the next one. Alright, every generation gets a baseball movie. But only one of them ever felt like it was made by people who actually remembered what it was like to be a kid on a dusty field with a glove that didn't quite fit and a coach who probably shouldn't have been coaching anybody. right? Bad News Bears wasn't a fantasy. It was a pep talk. It was a snapshot, a sun-bleached Polaroid of American childhood in the 1970s, with all the rough edges left in. Walter Matthau walks into that movie like he's been living in it for years. Morris Buttermaker, a man who's seen better days, better days, worse days, and a whole lot of days that looked exactly the same. He's not a hero. He's not even trying to be one. He's just that guy with a cooler full of beer and a job he didn't ask for. And somehow, that's exactly why he works. Because every kid on that team has met a grown-up like him. Someone who's tired, someone who's flawed, someone who's not pretending to be perfect. And in a strange way, that honesty becomes the thing they trust. I hope I don't fade out again here. Then you've got the kids themselves, not polished, not precocious, not Disney clean, real kids, loud, messy, insecure, hilarious. Kids who swear, kids who fight, kids who strike out and don't take it gracefully. And right in the middle of that chaos, like a lightning bolt, comes Tatum O'Neal as Amanda Wurlitzer. Cool as ice, tough as nails, and carrying around more heartbreak than any 12-year-old should have to. She throws a baseball like she's settling a score with the world. And every time she winds up, you can feel the whole movie shift around her. There's something beautiful about the way the Bad News Bears refuses to sand anything down. It doesn't pretend that childhood is innocent or adults always know what they're doing. It doesn't pretend that winning solves anything. What it does show quietly, almost accidentally, is that sometimes the people who look the most lost are the ones who end up teaching you how to stand on your own 2 feet. And that championship game, it's one of the great subversions in American sports movies. You're trained, conditioned to expect the big triumphant moment, the slow motion victory, the music swelling, and the underdogs take the crown. But the Bad News Bears doesn't give you that. It gives you something bigger. It gives you truth. They lose. They lose and they celebrate anyway. They lose and they find out the world doesn't end. They lose and they realize that the real victory was learning how to show up, how to try, how to be a team when everything's stacked against you. And that's the secret of the whole picture. It's not about baseball. It's about growing up in a world that doesn't always make room for you. It's about the kids who get overlooked, the adults who get written off, and the strange, unexpected ways people end up saving each other. It's about the idea that life is messy, people are complicated, and sometimes the best thing you can do is take the field anyway and give it your best swing. When the credits roll, you're left with this warm, bittersweet feeling, like remembering a summer that wasn't perfect, but was yours. A summer of scraped knees, cheap uniforms, long shadows, and long shadows on the outfield grass, and the first time you realize that winning isn't everything, but trying counts for a whole lot. That's the Bad News Bears. A little rough, a little rude, and absolutely honest. A movie that doesn't just show kids, it respected them. A movie that didn't just show kids, it respected them. That's, anyway. And that's why it's still here, all these years later. The Bad News Bears, still one of my favorites. I'm probably going to have to put it on now and watch it again this week, which I love to do. This encourages me to watch all of these movies. And then when I'm researching all of this, I actually find a lot of these movies and I download them so I can check them out, you know? Anybody watch Bad News Bears? It's a good flick. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. So how do you follow up Bad News Bears? Do another film with your father and Peter Bogdanovich. Why not? That's crazy, man. You know, there's a certain kind of movie that feels like it was made by people who were half in love with the past and half terrified of the past slipping away. Nickelodeon, Boogadaism. Nickelodeon is one of those pictures. It's Peter Bogdanovich looking back at the birth of Hollywood. Not the glamorous part, not the premieres or the gowns or legends, but the messy, chaotic, seat-of-your-pants era when movies were still figuring out what they wanted to be. And he tells it with this strange, affectionate energy, like a man flipping through an old scrapbook and laughing at how young everyone looks. The film drops you right into the 1910s, when the whole business was still a wild frontier. Cameras cranked by hand, scripts written on the fly, actors doing their best stunts because nobody had invented the word liability yet. And into that world walks Ryan O'Neal, all nerves and ambition, and Burt Reynolds, who looks like he was born to swagger through a silent film set with a cigarette hanging off his lip. They're opposites, but they fit together like mismatched gears that somehow keep matching, that somehow keep the machine running. And then there's Tatum, young, sharp, already carrying herself like she's been on the set for a decade. She's not the center of the movie, but every time she steps into the frame, the whole thing tilts toward her. She's got that uncanny ability, even at that age, to make you believe she belongs in whatever world the film builds around her. In Nickelodeon, she's the spark that reminds you this isn't just a nostalgia trip. It's a story about people trying to make something new, something that might outlast them. Bogdanovich shoots the whole thing like he's trying to bottle a memory. The slapstick, the pratfalls, the frantic energy of early filmmaking. And it's all there. But there's a melancholy under it too. A sense that the innocence of the industry didn't last long. The moment the movies learned how to talk, they also learned how to lie. But in this little window of time, before the studios took over, before the money got big and the stakes got bigger, there was the wild, creative freedom. And the film captures that. The joy of invention, the thrill of improvisation, the feeling that every day on the set might be the day you accidentally invent something that changes the world. Burt Reynolds is a revelation in this one. He plays the role with his easy charm. He carried like a second skin, but there's a sweetness to him, a sense of a man who loves the work more than the glory. And Ryan O'Neal, jittery and earnest, gives the movie its heartbeat. Together, they feel like two sides of the same dream. The artist and the showman, the craftsman and the cowboy. And the whole thing is wrapped up in this warm sepia glow, not literally, since Bogdanovich shot in color, but emotionally. Every time I look back and think about it, I think of it as a black and white or near black and white. It feels like a memory, a story told by someone who was there or wishes they had been. Someone who remembers when movies were made with spit and hope and a little bit of madness. By the time the credits roll, you're left with this gentle ache. The kind when you get tribute to dreamers who built an art out of the flickering light and borrowed costumes. Oh. I'm just going to keep going because my stupid thing just keeps fading out on me. What a hell of a morning this is. And maybe that's why it still resonates. Because underneath the slapstick and the chaos, it's a movie about people trying to make something beautiful in a world that didn't always understand them. It's about the birth of an industry. Yes, it's also about the birth of ambition, of creativity, and the belief that stories matter. That's Nickelodeon, a film about beginnings made by people who knew how fragile beginnings can be. Nickelodeon. It's a great flick. It is a great flick. Check it out. Totally, man. So we're having a little bit of a morning mischief on the thing here, and it keeps taking me away. There's not much I can do about it during the show. There really isn't. So we've got 3 more films to talk about this morning. And so right now we're going to go to a commercial break. And I do apologize if we disconnect and reconnect and there's a little bit of a missing piece in here, because that's what happens. I've got a buffer going. Oh, and the buffer is really short now. Yeah, the buffer is really short now, because I do that, and oh man. So if we go out again, there actually might be a frozen spot this morning. So we'll see. I'm going to go take a little bit of a break this morning and go to the little boy's room while we're at this break. So please enjoy this next one. And this here next is the Bad News Bears, this next trailer break. So if you haven't seen the Bad News Bears, now you can learn a little bit more about it. Right? Totally, man. All right, people, I will be back in a minute. Fade, sound.
We have just seen rushes direct from Hollywood of pictures being released in the coming weeks. And we are proud to announce that this theater will soon bring you the greatest array of pictures ever to reach our screen. You'll see the finest stars in exciting performances. You'll thrill to the suspense, comedy, romance, and drama of world-famous stories. Here's a glimpse of a few of them coming to this theater soon.
There is no limit to what some men will do for money, especially a man like Morris Buttermaker.
No, I really appreciate this. It's just a damn shame that none of the fathers had the time for it. God knows if I wasn't so busy down in City Hall.
You got my check, Whitewood? Even if it meant coaching an unlikely group called the Bad News Bears. It was a team of superstars like Mike Engelberg, Rudy Stein, Reggie Tower, Ahmad Abdul-Rahim, the incomparable Ogilvy, Timmy Lupus, Kelly Leak, the Aguilar brothers. With a team like this, there is only one way you can go.
Cups and supporters. Gotta be worn at all times. Very comfortable. Well, either you wear them, give that one. Either you wear them or you don't play.
Walter Matthau is Morris Buttermaker, a man so desperate to make a buck that he did the unforgivable. He put a girl on the team.
Boys, I'd like you to meet your new pitcher, Amanda Wurlitzer.
Juice, fix, niggers, and now a girl? Rabbit that, punk.
Tatum O'Neal is Amanda, but Amanda is no ordinary girl. And with her help, the Bad News Bears went from totally terrible to just plain bad.
Why don't you do this league a favor? You and the Bears just drop out.
Amanda knew what the Bad News Bears needed. She also knew how to get it.
If I win, you play baseball for the Bears.
And if I win?
Name it.
What if he tries something,
I know an 11-year-old girl who's already on the pill.
Don't ever say that word again.
Oh, well, if it isn't a puke. How'd you like me to stick this bat where the sun never shines, Turner? Sit on it.
But a little success is a strange thing. Once you taste it, you want more. And from just plain bad, the Bad News Bears climbed up the ladder to become the team that played baseball like it has never been played before. Academy Award winner Walter Matthau is the coach. Academy Award winner Tatum O'Neal is his secret weapon. Together, they turned the Bad News Bears into a team of superstars you will never forget. The Bad News Bears, the incredible story of how a disaster combined with a catastrophe and somehow became the greatest champs who ever played ball.
And we are back, people. It is the top of the hour at 6 a.m. here on the Pacific West Coast in beautiful downtown Joshua Tree, California. And this morning, forgive my noise, my rattling around. This morning we've been talking about Tatum O'Neal. And we've got 3 more movies to discuss here, which is probably going to give us about a half an hour or so left in this morning's show to just hang out, which is great. I love it when a plan comes together. I hope you enjoyed that movie trailer. It's a good one. All right, so here is a movie that is, well, as you can tell, it's one of my favorites, Little Darlings. You know, every so often a movie comes along that doesn't feel like a movie at all. It feels like a memory. One you didn't even know you had until it flickers across the screen, and you suddenly are right back there. 13 years old, trying to figure out who you are supposed to be and hoping nobody notices you're still a kid. Wow. That's true. Little Darlings is one of those pictures. It's not glossy. It's not polished. It's not trying to teach a lesson. It just is. A little slice of 1980 adolescence, sun-bleached and honest, in a way that teen movies almost never dared to be. Of course, after this. At the center of it all, you've got Christy McNichol and Tatum O'Neal. 2 kids who were already carrying the weight of fame on their shoulders, but somehow managed to play these roles like they were just girls at a summer camp, trying to survive the heat and the hormones. I think we've got a little bit of these girls here. I think it's just an image. There we go. It's just an image. There they are. That's all. Trying to survive the heat and hormones and the pressure of growing, the pressure to grow up too fast, faster than they wanted to. Christy plays Angel, that rough, that tough kid swagger. She did better than anyone. Christy plays Angel with that tough kid swagger. She did better than anyone. The kind of girl who smokes behind the rec hall and pretends she doesn't care about anything. And she wasn't really like that. Even though you can see her in the eyes, she cares about everything. Everything. And Tatum, as Ferris, brings that cool, aloof confidence that only a kid who's been in the spotlight since she could walk could pull off. She's polished, she's poised, she's got that don't mess with me stare, but underneath it, she has this quiet ache. Like she's trying to figure out where she fits in the world that keeps telling her who she's supposed to be. Oy. My mouth is not working this morning, or my eyes, so bear with me. Bear with me. Arr. The genius of Little Darlings is that it never talks down to them, or to us. It doesn't treat adolescence like a joke or a tragedy. It treats it like it was, like what it really is. Confusing, funny, painful, exhilarating, and sometimes all of those things at the same afternoon. The movie lets the girls be messy. It lets them be wrong. It lets them be vulnerable in ways that feel It lets them be vulnerable in ways that lets you feel so real you almost want to look away. It does. Like you're intruding on someone's private. You know what? And what really parallels this is if you know the modern movie with Dakota Fanning and Kristen somebody, The Runaways, the movie about the Runaways, about Cherie Currie, who's in this movie. The movie The Runaways is very similar in its cinematography and its cinematic present. It's very similar to this particular movie, Little Darlings. It really is. It really is. And then there's the camp itself, that perfect time capsule of 1980. The wooden bunks, the lake that's always too cold, the counselors who were barely older than the kids, the endless afternoons where nothing happens and everything happens. You can practically smell the copper tone and hear the screen doors slamming. It's the kind of setting that makes you remember your own summer, even if they didn't look anything like this one. What really makes the film sing, though, is the friendship, or maybe the rivalry between Angel and Ferris. They start off circling each other like boxers, each one trying to figure out the other's weak spot. But as the days go by, you see something shift. They start to recognize themselves in each other. The bravado, the fear, the longing to be seen for who they really are. And by the time the big bet, the one everyone remembers, comes to the head, you realize the movie was never about the bet at all. It was about the way girls learn to navigate a world that's already decided what womanhood should be like. And that ending, it's one of the great quiet endings of the era. I'm sorry, I was thinking of a different movie. I was thinking of last week's Jodie Foster movie when I was thinking of Anne or Marie Curie. Pardon my brain fart. No big speeches at the end, no triumphant music cue, no easy answers, just two girls sitting together, finally telling the truth, finally letting themselves be kids again. If only for a moment. It's tender, it's raw, and it's the kind of scene that stays with you long after the credits roll. Little Darlings didn't try to be iconic. It didn't try to be a cult classic. It just told the truth about a moment in life that's almost impossible to capture. That fragile electric space between childhood and everything that comes after. And maybe that's why it still hits. Because no matter how old you get, there's a part of you that remembers what it felt like to be 13. Standing on the edge of the world, trying to figure out which version of yourself you were supposed to grow into. Little Darlings. A summer you never lived, but somehow you remember anyway. Yeah, I apologize about that little moment I had there talking about the Runaways. It was the Runaways and Little Foxes. The Runaways and Little Foxes are the movies that are very, very similar in their presentation. They really feel like they're connected. And the thing that it's one is got the first one has got Marie Curie in it with Jodie Foster, and The Runaways has Dakota Fanning portraying Marie Curie in it, which is, I think it's pretty cool. All right, so there's Little Darlings. We have Certain Fury here, which is the last of pardon me. I have to figure out what to do with my legs here because they are huge and I have limited space here. I hope you're having fun this morning. I know we keep bouncing in and out because for some reason my service keeps booting me in and out, and I'm just going to go ahead and reload my comments here because sometimes, okay. So if you're still there, give me a wave. I'm going to continue. I know sometimes people just turn me on and then just kind of, what? or just sit there, drink coffee, or go about your morning chores and business and stuff. So be sure to let me know once in a while you're still there so I can add something special for you. And I should go ahead and, while we're talking about it, go ahead and write somebody into the cast this morning. First cast member got here early. See, I figured she was still there. Cassie is there. She's just doing her stuff. Hi. Have you seen any of these movies? Because I know that you like me, grew up without the opportunity to have a TV or stuff a lot. Running on your weekly planner. I thought that I was going to plan everything out for this season, and it turns out that doing it on the fly is easier, and it's because my time is never my own. So there you go. So I put this together days ago and then set it aside. You missed a lot of these I've done. Yeah, these have you seen any of these so you've missed a lot of these movies. Oh, I get it. Yeah. So if you get an opportunity, watch some of these, because they are classics. So when you're watching and you're writing in your planner, be sure to jot down little notes like I do. I got a million Post-its everywhere that remind me to watch certain things, because for me it's just a form of time travel. That's all it is. A little chrono shift every now and again is a blast. It's totally awesome. Okay. Some movies don't arrive with fanfare. They don't give a glossy magazine spreads or a big studio push. They just show up one day, bruised, loud, a little chaotic, and don't dare look away. Good. I kind of thought you're kind of that minded. Certain Fury is one of those pictures. It's not polite. It's not pretty. It sure as hell isn't trying to win any awards. What it is, though, is a raw little time capsule of 1985, when Hollywood was still trying to figure out what to do with young actresses who didn't fit neatly into the ingenuine box. You've got Tatum O'Neal and Irene Cara, two performers who came into the industry with enormous talent and enormous expectations, and who were both, in their own ways, trying to claw out of the shadows cast by their earlier successes. And there they are, thrown together in a movie that feels like it was shot with adrenaline instead of film stock. They play two girls from opposite sides of the world, one a street-tough runaway, and the other a sheltered honor student, who get caught in a courthouse bloodbath and then end up on the run together. It's a classic setup, but the movie doesn't treat it like the polished thriller. It treats it like a panic attack. And this is pretty funny, because you would think that if you hear it, you would know who the characters are. But Tatum's character, Scarlett, is all edges, the kid who's been fighting since the day she learned how to stand. She's angry, she's wounded, she's got a lot of feral energy. Tatum could tap into almost better than anyone her age. And then Irene Cara's Tracy is the opposite, soft-spoken, terrified, trying to make sense of a world that suddenly turned violent around her. Watching the two of them collide is the whole point of the film. It's not about the plot. It's about the friction. The way trauma forces people together who would never have spoken to each other under normal circumstances. And the whole movie never lets up. It's grimy, it's sweaty, it's shot in alleys and abandoned buildings and cheap apartments that look like they smell like mildew and cigarettes. It's the underside of the 1980s. The part that didn't make it into the music videos. Well, some. And that's where the film finds its strange little heartbeat. Because underneath all the gunfire, all the shouting, all the chaos, there's this quiet story about two girls who have been failed by every adult in their lives. Teachers, parents, cops, judges. Nobody sees them. Nobody listens. Nobody believes them. So they end up believing each other. There's a moment, not a big one, not a dramatic one, where the two of them are just sitting together, exhausted, dirty, scared, and you can see the walls come down. You can see them realize that the only people who are going to get them out of this alive are the two of them. And for a movie that spends so much time running, that stillness hits harder than any of the action. Now, Certain Fury didn't get a warm welcome when it came out. Critics didn't know what to do with it. Audiences weren't sure either. It wasn't a prestige drama. It wasn't a glossy action flick. It wasn't a teen movie. It lived in that strange middle space, too rough for one crowd, too emotional for another. But that's exactly why it's interesting. It's a film that refuses to be tidy. It's messy, like the lives of the girls it's about. And maybe that's the real reason it sticks with me. Because underneath the grit and the noise, it's a story about survival. About two young women who have been pushed to the edge and decide together they're not going over it. They're not going over the edge. It's about the kind of friendship that doesn't come from shared interests or summer camp or school hallways. It comes from depression. It comes from desperation, pardon my eyes, from fear, from the realization that sometimes the only person who understands you is the one who's running beside you. Certain Fury isn't a perfect film. It's not even a polished one, but it's honest in a way a lot of the 80s thrillers weren't. It shows you two girls who refuse to be victims, who refuse to be quiet, who refuse to disappear, and its own rough around the edges way. And in its own rough around the edges way, it makes something worth remembering. Certain Fury, Tatum O'Neal and Irene Cara. It is a fantastic movie. Like I said, you would think that normally in a normal Hollywood film, the black girl would have been the gritty street girl, the street character, and the white girl would have been the uptown. And they flipped those roles, right? And Irene Cara is an uptown girl, daughter of, I think, a doctor or something, right? And Tatum's character is an illiterate street urchin who's had to raise herself and work doing all kind of bad stuff, right? It is really, really awesome. Oh, here we go. Jodie Foster Week has lots of notes. That's cool. Oh, Candle Shoe. Oh, yeah, that's a great one. I love Candle Shoe. So I would have to say that out of all of these, Certain Fury, the last kind of thing that I can hear a dog dreaming in the next room. Certain Fury has got just the biggest and you can see that she pulls a lot of her own emotions into that, because she's kind of struggling at that point in her life too, with family and career and personal stuff. And that, folks, is Tatum O'Neal, the kid who walked into Hollywood like she had the master key, rearranged the furniture, won an Oscar before most of us figured out how to tie our shoes, and then kept right on surprising everyone who thought they had her figured out. From hustling Bibles and Paper Moon, to throwing the heat in the Bad News Bears, to cooling us, to out-cooling half the adults in Nickelodeon. She carried out childhood career like she carried out a child. Remind me later. I'm sorry, my stupid TV is here. Okay, I get it. Back to where I was. She carved out a childhood career that still feels like lightning in a bottle. Around here on the morning show, we just call that Monday. Now go refill your coffee. We've got some more memories to stir up this morning. We do. In about 10 minutes, we're going to play the last of the trailers, and it just happens to be Certain Fury. So you're not going to want to miss this, because Certain Fury. Yeah, and you'll get to see what I'm talking about. It's really gritty. And Irene Cara, if you remember the movie Fame. Fame, I want to live forever. That's the movie about the School of the Arts. It's kind of a take on Juilliard's School of Arts, but it's about the School of the Arts where the kids are in high school, but they have to learn not just the high school curriculum, but they also have drama and comedy and acting and music and dance and yada, yada, yada. Hey, good morning there, Dubs. How you been? Late as usual. Still haven't set your alarm, huh? There you go. You're on the roll. Was happening? Well, we just got through talking about Tatum O'Neal. Tatum O'Neal. This girl. Tatum O'Neal. Good old Tatum O'Neal. So you're late, but that's okay. Oh yeah, Fame, one of my favorites with Irene Cara. You know what? We are going to do so many Mondays devoted to just these kids that I grew up with, really. Because, I mean, come on. I mean, come on. Right? What did we do last week, right? What the hell did we do last? I know that we had so much. Oh, you guys are going to love tomorrow. You guys are going to love tomorrow's show. If you really want to have fun, at 4:15 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, I'm going to start tomorrow's show. We're going to do a pre-show. Does everybody remember Donahue? Right, Phil Donahue? We are going to play an episode of Donahue starting at 4:15 a.m. That is going to lead us into tomorrow's show, and we are going to talk about Phil Donahue on Totally Television Tuesday. We're going to talk about Phil Donahue. We're going to talk about a news program, a kids' news program called Bubblegum Digest, who just happened to be the guests on Phil Donahue that day. And then Bubblegum Digest, their special guest, because their show is that day, their special guest is Mason Reese, the childhood actor. Oh, it is just, it's to die for. You're going to love tomorrow's show. But what I might do is air some commercials by Mason Reese, as well as we might even watch after the show, watch an episode of the Bubblegum Digest, the kids' news program. It is a great, really cool show. Really, Really cool. So I'm going to see if I can find some Mason Reese commercials, because I haven't really finished off tomorrow's show. No, I'm not doing an afternoon show. It's 4:15 a.m. Dude, 4:15 a.m. is when I'm starting tomorrow's show. I'm getting up earlier and starting the program earlier by bringing to you an entire episode of Donahue. It's 45 minutes because it doesn't have any commercials. And he's got Bubblegum Digest on his show. And on their show, they've got Mason Reese. And it's just a fantastic... And I thought I was just going to bring this Donahue episode as a pre-show warm-up, and then talk about news. And then I thought, it's Television Tuesday. Let's totally talk about Donahue. Do I keep freezing up out there? I do. I keep freezing up. So if you can hear me out there, I do apologize. For some reason, my internet has been jacking with me all morning. And so I'm going to freeze, I'm going to glitch. Hopefully the sound will still come to you. I may sound a little robotic, but I'll be, there's nothing I can do about it right now. The only thing that I can do is just try to push through and try to notice when I'm freezing up over here. Christy McNichol is still too cute. I know you don't have social media, but I know Cassie does. I have Jimmy and Christy McNichol on social media. I don't follow many people on social media. I don't. Jackie Earl Haley, Jimmy and Christy McNichol, a couple of other people like that I follow, because they're still cool to me. They're still really cool people. So once again, if I happen to freeze up and get glitchy this morning, like it's happening again, just bear with me. Sometimes things just get glitchy. That's all. But so we're going to talk about Phil Donahue, Bubblegum Digest, and Mason Reese. Tay-Tay in the way ain't. Tay-Tay in the way ain't. Oh, good old Jodie Foster. Don't know idea. Tatum O'Neal. Tatum O'Neal. When I think back to these kids, boys and girls, when they were varying ages, I'm not like, oh yeah, I'm like, I feel, I'm pulled back, I watch a movie and I'm fully invested in that time, that period, that era. If I've seen the movie 100 times, I'm looking at the whole picture. I'm looking at what's in the background. What do they have on their shelves? What is that book there? I will freeze frame old movies just so that I can itemize what is on a shelf somewhere or what's in a room. I think I was watching the movie Shaft, and there's a scene in an office in a city, and it's a real office, and I had to freeze it just to see what was going on. Things on the wall. Snitchy. Oh. Tay-Tay is Taylor Swift. Oh. I did not know that. I did not. Well, I guess I probably did, but I didn't put it together since we're talking about Tatum O'Neal, Jodie Foster's Tay-Tay in the way in. So I was out there. Let's watch this last trailer, and hopefully it won't freeze up. And then when we get back, we'll have the rest of the morning to just hang out, okay? And I don't know how long that's going to be. My daughter does not have school today at all. I don't know what my daughter is doing. Yeah, Shaft. Just talk about the Shaft. I'll be back in a flash.
We have just seen rushes direct from Hollywood of pictures being released in the coming weeks. And we are proud to announce that this theater will soon bring you the greatest array of pictures ever to reach our screen. You'll see the finest stars in exciting performances. You'll thrill to the suspense, comedy, romance, and drama of world-famous stories. Here's a glimpse of a few of them coming to this theater soon.
Academy Award winner Tatum O'Neal.
I know we can beat this.
Academy Award winner Irene Cara.
I didn't resist arrest.
And Peter Fonda.
Would you help me if I had stiffed a cop?
I didn't stiff a cop.
They never met before today.
Nobody move.
And they don't belong together now. They're about to be tried in a crossfire. Convicted by circumstance. And framed for a crime they didn't commit. They're caught up in certain fury.
White, black. They'll grab us in 2 seconds.
Now they're bound together by chance.
I just want a place where I can figure a way out of this mess.
I want you away from me. Now!
And if they can't make it together,
Won't let anybody in, will you?
then they won't make it at all.
Go back home in your boyfriend's Porsche. I don't really live like that.
You sure don't live like this.
The only thing that will save them now is their nerve, their luck, and each other.
Okay.
They may not survive.
And we know you're in there.
But they're not going down without a fight.
If you're gonna do it, do it. Now I'm giving myself up. Now.
You take one step that way, I'll kill you.
They're about to find out that when you're desperate, you'll do anything and everything to stay alive.
Hold it! They're gunning for you.
Tatum O'Neal, Irene Cara, Certain Fury.
All right, and we're back. Well, I had fun this morning talking about Tatum O'Neal. God, I've seen so many of her. I've seen her movies so many times, right? This one, not so much. Certain Fury. You have to see Certain Fury. It is a hell of a gritty film, right? There is some real tension that these girls have. And they're really out of their element, both of them. All right. Never seen that one, huh? You're having to check it out then. Man, I can't talk enough about tomorrow's show. It's going to be fun. I'm still putting it in the can. But that... and if you don't get up in time to watch it, go back and watch the beginning of the show. I had to pull a little bit of sound because there was some music playing during a little interview with one of the kids and a hockey player or something. So I pulled the sound. But other than that, it's a great look at 1976, 78, I think, something like that. Yeah, that Certain Fury movie, it is action-packed. It is pretty raw and gritty and edgy, and the girls are like, they play like polar opposites, right? And they're, both of them, they really draw on a lot of their own personal stuff that's going on. You can see it in their acting. It's just packed, like at a cannery. Yeah, And then this morning's, go back and check out this morning's grand opening. Was pretty cool. The pre-show, educational film and architecture. That was pretty cool, and it will be coming to you. I'm going to start taking some of these shows that I'm bringing as a pre-show and then putting it on my channel a week later. So next week on Monday at noon, you'll get this morning's pre-show, and that's how it's going to work. The following week at noon, you'll get whatever element we use that we should probably check out in its entirety alone by itself. Next week, a week from tomorrow, right, at noon, we're going to get that Donahue episode on the channel, and we can check that out just by itself. So it'll be totally cool, man. It'll be coolness. Wow. You know, a lot of people are going to say, well, I didn't learn anything about these. You know what? I'm trying to give you an introduction to these people. They're humans. They have a life that I know nothing about. I could read books and biographies, and believe me, I have, and I do. But I can't bring you their life. If one of them were to say, hey, I'd like to come on the show and do a video thing where I can tell you my side of it, that'd be great. But until then, I'm just going to bring you kind of my side of it. Why and why I'm invested in it, and what it kind of means to me overall, you know. Yeah, I remember that one. They redid that again with Lawrence Fishburne and, what is that guy? Stephen Baldwin? Is that him? Or Alec Baldwin? It was a Baldwin. There's been a bunch of different chained together movies, right? But yeah, this is totally similar to that. I don't think they were chained up were they? No, I don't think they were handcuffed in this one, were they? I wasn't paying attention to the trailer, and I don't recall it in the movie. That escaping from the courtroom scene, whether it was whether they, I don't think so, no, because they dove over I don't think they were handcuffed together. But yeah, those chain gang movies where they escape together and they're shackled and they got to keep moving. Well, this morning is just frazzazzled with technicals, and I do apologize for that. But it's, what are you gonna do? When I get done here this morning, I'm gonna clean everything up, reboot everything, and what I do is I reinstall my graphics processor and reinstall, do the cleanup, and do that kind of stuff. Black girl, white girl, totally. Salt and pepper. Yeah. Totally. That actually was a cop term. Salt and pepper. It was a salt and pepper. If there was a black guy and a white guy together, they call them a salt and pepper team. Yeah, there you go. Before it ever made it into a girls group, right? Totally. So how are y'all this morning? I'm just peachy keen. I've been working on show stuff between doing family stuff and going out and doing work, because I gotta work. I don't want to. Some days I shouldn't, because I am in so much fucking pain. But there have been repairs and maintenance on some of the places we take care of lately. So I've just had to suck it up and go out and deal with the pain. And then come home and cry and crawl into bed. So that's what I've been doing lately. Crying and crawling into bed. And drinking a lot of coffee to stay out of bed. Yeah, I put this show together a few days ago, and then it's taken me a couple of days just to try to get pieces of tomorrow's show done. And I've ran my quality control checks. So I've created all of my, what I call monologue, but it's just dialogue that I'm going to speak on the show. So I create these little monologues about my topics and stuff. So I've created all of that. I need to create my commercial breaks now, and then install and some video hanging graphics, the little pictures and videos and stuff that hang here next to me. I need to create a few of those for some of the subjects. But other than that, I'm pretty good to go. I'll make my commercials, load them onto my program, and then find the photographs I want to use, load them onto the program, print out my dialogue, and then do my promo. Today I'm going to put my promo on Facebook and on YouTube that says this is what's happening tomorrow. So I'll do all of that and try to get everything done early today so that I don't have to worry about it, think about it. It's done. Finito. Because I haven't worked on Wednesday or Thursday at all. And I have no clue what I'm doing yet. No clue. Not a tiny little bit of clue. I've got elements gathered for some stuff. But I don't have anything actually planned out. Now, Wednesday is the easiest day because I can just look through a list of songs and say, I want these, and copy and paste them. Look through a list of commercials and PSAs and news and stuff. Copy and paste. Just create a file that I can just start playing from. And then as I play things, just write them down. That's all. That's all. That's it. Thursday's a little bit more. What should we talk about on Thursday? It's kind of a TV morning news, consumer advocacy type thing, but we can kind of bounce around from consumer type human news to talking about news programs and TV programs related to consumerism type stuff. So we've done products, and we've done David Horowitz. We could do like Ralph Nader. I don't know much about Ralph Nader, which is great because every time I have to do one of these, I get to learn. And then I kind of just give you a little, here's this guy, a little bit of intro, right? At some point, one of these people may come along because they see their name in a YouTube video description, right? Title. And they're going to come along and they're going to watch this and they're going to go, maybe I want to get on there and tell my side of the story and give a little more detail. And that would be great. But I'm not going to hold my breath. But until then, I'm not going to give you the whole story because it's their story. It's not my story. I'm going to give you my side of the story. How their stuff made me feel. What it was like to be back then watching them do what they do. Kind of stuff. And kind of giving you just a little glimpse at who they were. If they want to come along later and fill in some of those, that's great. But I'm probably not gonna go after anybody and say, hey, come on my show. I'm not that guy either. I'm just a guy. Just a guy who likes to talk, really, I guess. I didn't know that until I turned my cameras on, turned the microphones on, went live one day and realized I'm just a guy that likes to talk. So I'm talking to you. I'm talking to you. I keep bumping my desk here and it makes noise if you probably hear that. It was the Rubik's Cube bouncing against my mug. That's what it was. Totally, man. Okay. Enough of that. So what's going on? I got nothing going on today. I'm just going to be, well, I got to clean a house. And then I'm about 4 weeks away from yard sale. I still haven't figured out what I'm going to do about that, because yard sale day is on a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, which means that Friday won't be a long day. It won't be a long day at all, because I need to be over at the house we're doing the yard sale at. Boy, this signal is shitty today. So anywho, I need to be over at the house, which is 4 blocks away across the highway. And it's a house that I'm going to clean today, but it's a house that we take care of. And we're doing the yard sale there because the garage is just filled with Airbnb stuff. And there's no need for it all, because I'm looking for my other slipper. Hello, slipper. Oh, there it is. Way out there. There's no need for all this stuff because we've whittled it down to one B&B, and the other one has now become a monthly rental. So there you go. So I need to just empty that garage out. So there you go. So Thursday on the 12th, I will be getting out of here, done with the show, and going to that house. And I will start itemizing stuff so I can make a list to put on Marketplace and Craigslist or whatever else I'm going to be doing the advertising. And then I've got to make a couple of signs, a garage, well, one sign for the highway, garage sale. That's it. And then it's going to be a 3-day thing. It's going to start on Friday. We have Thursday to get prepped. The house is going to be emptied that weekend so that we can be there. Our daughter is probably going to stay there and hang out, have a little house time. She loves that house. So she's like, if I'm there, can I have the dogs? Whatever. But I've got tables to set up. I've got just a ton of stuff. There's a bunch of things there that I own that I don't want to sell. I've got a few thousand records there. I don't know. I'm on until the house kind of starts to wake up and I feel like I need to go. So I'm just here. Why? You got to go to the beer run or something? Huh? I went on a pot run last night so that I wouldn't have to leave during the show. Hint, hint, hint. And what's your address? Because I'm going to send you an alarm clock. Damn it. You're going to be like, dude, how do I work this? It's like 1980s. Oh my God, this one's 70s. There we go. Ting, ting. There you go. All right. So yeah, I'm here until I'm not. It should be longer than usual. Totally. Yeah, I don't know what's gonna go on for Thursday. You lost your lighter. Oh my God. Standing by the stove now, huh? Doesn't that suck? I just had my wife pick up a 5-pack of Bics. Right. Now you're good. No, really. Like, oh my God. I am so like, oh my God. Oh my God, I know that guy. No, really. Matches, a candle, and some hemp wick. I used to use hemp wick. I still have some around here somewhere. Right? Totally, man. She's like totally. Yeah. I've been looking at some more demos, and I actually have some professional demos. Really real, not professionally done demos, but demos done by people who went big. I'm seeing one of them this summer, so I'm hoping that I'm going to get the approval to air these things, right? Hopefully, all of my shows are copywritten because of the theme music that I use, and sometimes the pre-show. Every once in a while, there's a copyright block where some places can't watch it, and I'll go in and I'll do a little bit of edit so that it can be viewed in more places with the copyright thing there. I've got some more demos for the demo draw on Wednesday, but I've got some demos now. I just have to get them passed through YouTube, so I've got some really good stuff. So fingers crossed that we're gonna be lighting it up big time on Wednesday. Thursday, I have no clue. Thursday's one of those things where I kind of do it on the fly, right? Kind of see how the week is progressing, and then just kind of hodgepodge it together. Totally. Yeah, I got a little candle here on my desk, and I've got a giant jar of matchbooks. But I always keep a box of matches around. Stick matches. Always keep stick matches around. 20 ashtrays, 8 candles. Everything. Always keep everything around there, George. There, right there with you there, George. Totally. We need to do like a watch party where we get on like Facebook Messenger is the easiest because it's easy for me to access stuff and mix stuff and send it out, right? Where I could bring in people on a messenger type video group chat, and then on my screen that you could blow up to full size on yours, on your end, my screen I would put on a movie and sound, and we would watch that together, and during that I would just put myself down as a little blurb down here, a little screen, so we could watch a movie together. And then I could turn my mic off and on and talk as you guys are commenting, right? That's Little Darlings. The title is down. Can I get over here? There's Little Darlings. There, that's a summer movie when the girls are growing older. They're becoming women. It's a great movie. I think that one has Matt Dillon in it. Armand Asante, and I believe it has Matt Dillon in it, but he's still kind of a nobody because this is 1980, and he has yet to really make it past Over the Edge. He did Over the Edge, and then after that he was a bit part in this, and then he did all kinds of like Rumblefish and all kinds of shit. He just kept knocking shit out. Was that what's that other one? Drugstore Cowboy? That's not right. I don't know, maybe. He did a bunch of weird shit. We're gonna do Matt Dillon at some point, and then I'll know. And then I'll remember for about a minute, and then I'll be just like I am now. And then he did what? That's why I only focus on a small little era, because I get confused. I get confused. I believe I have this movie on hard drives, so I've got a hard drive here. In fact, my wife, last night we were lying in bed, and she popped on the movie Pepe. It's a Cantinflas movie from the 60s, or I think it's the 60s. And it's a Hollywood crossover. So it's got a bunch of Hollywood stars in it from those eras, right? And she was going to put it on, and it was like halfway through the movie. And I said, no, this movie's 3 hours long. And besides that, I've got a whole thing on hard drive. So let's watch it, you know. So yeah, that little hard drive. I just keep, every once in a while, I'll look into a file of movies that I've grabbed from different places. And I'm like, well, this is grown. And then I'll need to unload that onto the hard drive. And then that hard drive is just, it's a gold mine of movies. It's like a little movie library on a hard drive. It's really bitchin'. Pippi Longstocking. You know what? That's not a bad idea. That's not a bad idea. Good old Pippi. Longstocking. Yeah, because I'm always playing German commercials and Australian stuff and Japanese stuff and Philippine stuff from all over, right? Because living in Southern California, it's like New York, where you're kind of a hodgepodge of different cultures and stuff. So I grew up with different stuff happening, you know. And of course, KTLA Channel 5 out here in Los Angeles, we did Pippi Longstocking all the time in the 70s and 80s. Totally did. It was like a ritual. In fact, my friend who got married in 2013, my age, and started having kids, had a couple of kids, and they fell in love with Pippi Longstocking, the new and the old, right? And I'm saying, well, don't you have any of the old stuff? Don't you have the old movies? He said, no, I don't have any of the old movies. And so I went to the library and I found them and I burned them onto DVD and sent him the original 4 Pippi Longstocking movies, the original 4 films for his kids. And they both of his kids, his boy and his girl, both dressed up as Pippi with the hair for Halloween one year, which just is awesome. That she made such an impression on both of them that they both had to be Pippi. I was hippie, they were Pippi. What about Little Darlings? What about Little Darlings? We talked about that like forever ago this morning. It's a movie with my hair. I did Phoebe for Halloween with the hanger wire. Yep, there you go. That's awesome. That's awesome. That's cool. Pippi. Yeah. I was just flashing back to watching, sitting in the motorhome / school bus, watching Pippi Longstocking on a little color TV on a Saturday morning, and being totally in that world, totally invested in that moment, you know. Yeah, the movies have always been an escape, and if I could find a TV or a place to watch a movie or a show, I was there. Help me escape, please. Please, I just want to escape. So what about Little Darlings? What, do you want to fight about it? What do you want to fight about it? That Little Orphan Annie. Yeah, there was a bunch of Little Orphan Annies. I wanted to be Pippi. I wanted to be Pippi. I wanted to be able to do all that shit that she did. Annie? Is that the one? The one that was the musical that became the movie? Hey, don't call me that. Little orphan Annie. That's funny. Totally. Yeah, I'm kind of in that middle space right now where I'm kind of thinking not just back to what we talked about this morning, but back to when I was actually living a lot of those moments, watching those films, living in moments that made those films seem more real. Yeah, flashback for your childhood, right? There you go. Yeah, with me it was, I don't know, probably Crybaby. I think that's the phrase or the nickname that takes me back to my childhood, unwillingly back to my childhood. Crybaby. My mother, father, and brother all used that term. Well, on Wednesday's show, it'll be the first day we're going to show all of the Polaroids on the glass. When you guys pop in, I will put your Polaroid up on the glass at the radio station. Albert Finney, Carol Burnett. Had to go bathroom. Yeah. Oh, my wife, she just loves Carol Burnett in that. She just sits and laughs and laughs and laughs. That is a great one. And the kids are pretty good too. There's actually a couple of kid actors in there that started there and then they kind of went on. I can't remember how. Once we get to that. A lot of redheads in your family too. Cool. They're all dark hair in my family. I'm the only blonde in my family. Blonde hair, gray eyes. I'm just a hodgepodge of human despicability. Totally. So it's after 7, so we are here longer. Oh yeah, Tim Curry's great in that too. Right? Yeah, I'll bet. I had a lot of insults, some of which I've blocked out. Because, well, there you go. Yes, that is Mickey Mouse on my shirt. Well, anyway. It's a hard knock life for us. Yeah, it is. Instead of kisses, we get kicks. Instead of treats, we get tricks. Yep. Yeah, no, I've got that soundtrack somewhere. I think I have it on 8-track as well. I've got the movie on DVD. Yeah, it's a classic. There you go. Yep, there you go. You guys know it. You know what I'm talking about. There's just something about kid movies and movies about kids or with kids back in the 70s and 80s that is, it changed the way kids are seen after that, but there's just something about it that's completely different than today. And they captured a little bit of that with like Super 8 by Spielberg, Stranger Things, Dazed and Confused, stuff like that, where they kind of capture that era right? But there's just, you know, oh, another one, Licorice Pizza. That's a good newer one. Tap class. The instructor wanted to do a performance of Annie. Oh, I refused. Yeah. My father did a bunch of video projects at the University of San Diego in California. University of California, San Diego, UCSD. And he was in communications and video and that kind of stuff. And he did a lot of projects. And he would use us kids, namely me, as his performers. And what are you supposed to do? Say, no, I'm not going to do it. You know? It was just easier to do it unwillingly, but just do it, right? Rather than try to talk your father out of you not wanting to do what he's already got planned. Yeah. I'm telling you. I had to do a lot of his video projects that I did not want to do, and I just had to suck it up and do it and pretend. And I had already become a pretender, pretending that I cared, right? But that right there helped me to the next level. Working on his stuff helped me. It even helped me at home when I stopped going to the 7th grade the last 6 weeks of school. We had changed schools twice, and when we got to the school, this third school, I hated it. I was miserable. I was bullied. I was tortured. And I was a year older than everybody because I had been held back in the 4th grade. So I'm in the 7th grade. I hate it. It sucks. And I just stopped going one day for 6 weeks, the last 6 weeks until summer. And that was it. School's out. And it was doing those things, pretending and acting the way he wanted me to, that actually enabled me to come home every day and pretend like I went to school and yeah, everything was fine and this, that, and we did this and we did that. And for 6 weeks I did that. And would go off every day on my own and walk through the neighborhood and go hide in places and just be me, right? You're still singing, huh? Totally. But now I wish I had an Annie trailer to play for you. But if I don't get it approved first, then it might cancel my show if I try to play one. So there you go. The only thing I do play without approval are 1920s, 30s music, old commercials and stuff, Grateful Dead stuff, TV commercials and news broadcasts. I can usually get away with that kind of stuff without getting a check. But I can't do an educational film or a TV program or a movie or sometimes even a trailer without getting it approved first. Yeah, kids are mean, no matter what period you live in. And it actually comes right down to the industrialization, the institutional nature of schooling, and the parents. If the parents suck, the kids are going to suck. So if a kid sucks, you know that parent has to fucking suck. In some way, they missed the mark, and they didn't do what they were supposed to, because this kid sucks. So I go for the parents. If there is a child under the age of 22 that has done something wrong, the parents should be held responsible as well, and should face almost the same consequences as the fucking kid, because it goes down to the parents. It really does. It goes to the parents. What kind of parents are they? What did they do? How did they do it? Did they do a good job? They should be somewhat responsible when the child is still underage, and that's under 22 by law. It's up to 21. Adults are meaner, exactly. And then you get fucking shitty little asshole kids. If I see an asshole kid, I look at the adult and I sneer at them. Look what you did. Look what you did, right? I had a friend who, him and his old lady, her kids, we took them out, spent the day with them, and I had to take those kids back to her and say, you know what, these are the worst fucking kids I've ever... They were horrible. All they did was bitch and complain and fuck with each other and be little assholes. And I had to yell and fucking scream at your kids. I said, these kids suck. I said, you need to fix that. And I screamed at her. When I was a kid and I would babysit, I would tell the parents, these kids, there's something wrong with these kids. You know, what did you do to them? You know, I'm a kid, and I notice that it's your fault. That's where they get it from. Exactly, the bastards. The bastards. Hear me now and think about the bastards later. For sure. For sure, for sure. For sure, for sure. All right. What are we doing here? I guess we are going to go and we are going to bring up a graphic here so that I can run to the little boy's room really quick. Because if you don't, I'll probably just pop. I'll just go. You'll be like, hey, what was that noise? And I'll be like, oh, that was just my bladder. No biggie. It ruptured. It's gone. There is no bladder. Okay, I think this graphic's going to fit in that screen there. So I will leave this with you. Oh, you're too funny. And I will be back in a flash. Don't go away. All right? And let's do that. Hey, it worked. All right. Don't go away. I'm back, baby. No, really, I'm here. All right. Where am I? Oh, there it is. I was like, what the hell is going on here? The real deal, Holyfield. No, I am the real deal. Holyfield's got nothing on me. I'll knock him the fuck out. Really? Don't fuck with me, man. Don't fuck with me. Because if you fuck with me, I'll fuck with you. And then if I gotta fuck with you, then you're gonna fuck with me. How the hell are we get started on this shit? Fucking Holyfield. No, really, man. I don't know what the fuck's going on now. It's after hours. It's post Monday Movie Memories. It's after the show. The show should have ended already. Of course, I never play my end credits until I'm ready to go. Maybe I should start playing my end credits right at the top of the hour at 7, when my show really is supposed to end, and then do a post-show thing, right? Oh, so I'm standing in there at the toilet taking a leak, right? And I'm thinking to myself, I left a graphic on the screen, but it's total silence. I should have put on a song. I should have put on some music. And then I'm thinking, why don't you write an I'm taking a pee song to put there? So forgive me while I write down this another one of 1,000 post-its here. I'm taking a pee song. Taking a pee song. Taking a piss, popping a squirt, shaking the weasel, doing all that, so I can throw in all those phrases. That'll be neat. Like I'll ever do that. I don't know. See, some of these notes get attention. Some of them don't. Some of them just sit there and get passed along to the next week, and then they get all dusty, dirty. I can't even read it anymore, and then I just throw it away. Like here's one reminding me what to do for pre-shows, and it was it's all dusty and dirty and smudged, and I looked at that post-it yesterday, and so I dug up a few episodes of that kids news program, Bubblegum Digest, and then I found that those kids, that their show was on the Donahue Show, and that on that show they had Mason Reese as the Bubblegum Digest guests, and I'm like, wow, this is too good to just leave there. So tomorrow morning, because of this post-it here that said, look at the kids news programs, now we're gonna see some shit. So after the show this morning, I'm going to work a little bit on tomorrow's show. I've got 8 commercial blocks to build. I've got some video snippets to build. And I'm going to run a check on an episode of Bubblegum Digest that's like 20-some minutes long, a half-an-hour episode, without commercials. And maybe we'll follow up tomorrow's show with a broadcast of that. So we'll do Donahue and then talk about all of it. Donahue and Bubblegum Digest and Mason Reese, and then go into an actual episode of Bubblegum Digest, because there are really, really cool shows. Really cool. So, oh my God, I knew that guy. So we're going to do that. And then, but man, I still have a lot of work to do for tomorrow's show, which means I'm probably going to get done working at one of the houses, come back, have some lunch, sit down, create some videos, and get them uploading to YouTube so I can get some tests done. I've still got to upload a bunch of music for Wednesday to see if it's going to play. I've got 3 demo tapes from 3 famous bands, artists. And it is going to be great. It is going to be great. And I hope that I get at least 1 or 2 of those passed. All of them would be great. But I really, really, because it's a way to share those records before they were those records, right? Those famous first records. Yeah, it's really fucking awesome. It's just so awesome. I'm so excited. Actually, I want more coffee. That's what I want. I want more coffee. There's coffee in there. I just have to go attack it. You can see the contemplation across my face as I ponder to drink or to not drink coffee. That is the question. Drink, 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 brother, drink. There you go. I know fucking William probably thought the same thing at the same time. There you go. There you have it. There it is. Right there in front of you. All right. I've decided, yes, if I'm going to be here much longer, I better go get a cup of coffee and have some... what I need is a Mr. Coffee right here. If I had the studio espresso, yeah, it would be one of those machines. And I would just go to a wide shot. And I would get up and I'd walk over to a machine and I'd keep talking and get a cup of coffee. I'd have a microphone right there. Can we get a little foam on that? Yeah, totally. I love a good cup of coffee. At nighttime, if I'm out, I'll get a good iced cappuccino or something, right? Something that's got some zip. Nurse that puppy all night long. And then a little Irish cream or Kahlua in it, right? Take those little shots. And, oh, yeah, baby. Oh, yeah. I could do that, yeah. I could totally fucking do that, man. Yeah. Man, the thoughts that go through my head at any given moment, there must be something wrong with me, because I cannot not keep those images from just flashing and flashing. I mean, all kinds of shit. Past, present, future. I don't know what the fuck's going on in my head sometimes. I will just have so many images going on. And they usually derive from what we're doing, stimuli that's happening. And I'll flash back to these periods in my life where some of these things may or may not even be involved. You know? But it's really, really wild, man. So many people forget so easily things from their lives. I talk to so many people who are like, we did what? I don't remember that. Huh? I don't remember a lot of that stuff. What are you talking about? You know, yeah, I love cappuccino. Yeah. Totally. He's my favorite actor. And it's kind of weird because I'm like, there's a lot of people out there who just bring it in, deal with it, and then forget about it. And then you remind them of things. Well, that was 20 years ago. I don't remember that. Do you remember your childhood? Well, I remember a couple of things. And I'm like, what the hell? No wonder the world can so easily move past our history, things that have gone on, right? Important things. It's really weird how most of the world can just move on and forget after 10, 15, 20 years. It really is generational. Because even though it's a new generation. There should be lessons from the past, and they're just not there anymore. It used to be like that, where we would continuously give history of family stuff to people, whether it be a verbal history, a spoken history, or pictures, or family movies. And there's just not that anymore. We're so easily to just live in the now and then discard it like dirty underwear and move on and never look back. And that's to me, that's fucking weird, because I remember, I don't like chai tea. I don't really like it. Yeah, I don't. I like tea. I love tea, green tea, different kinds of teas. What the fuck is kombucha anyway? It's really explains a lot when you think about it, how people can just forget so much because they just move on. How each generation is able to change so much from the last, especially nowadays, because there's just no memory. You know, remembering is just not a skill anymore, because people don't have to remember. They don't have to remember facts. They don't have to remember dates. They don't have to remember names or phone numbers anymore. Everything is automated. Everything's punched in. You can Google a fact, then forget about it. What was that thing that I was going to tell? Let me Google it and I'll tell you. Yeah, that's the thing I was going to tell you. You're not telling anybody anything anymore. You're looking shit up, remembering it for an instant so you can pass on that information and post it, and then it's gone. It's gone from your head. And that's straight no chaser. Yeah, kombucha, no tracer. I'm swallowing it with tracer rounds so I can see where it goes. It's kind of a bummer. If there's no history, if you can't remember, yeah, see, there you go. I kind of figured you were one of those. It goes back to early lessons or early trauma or early something that makes you have those, or it's genetic, but makes you keep those connections, right? No matter how bizarre or weird the memory is, it just stays with you. No matter how mundane the memory is, it just stays with you. Everyday, day-to-day shit. I remember so much everyday, day-to-day bullshit throughout my life. The meaningful and the mundane. All of it. It's there. A lot of it. Some of it gets remembered a little bit differently because I put some emotion into the memory back then. So it's charged with the emotion. And so the memory is a little different. It's a little jaded, a little cynical, a little angry. Yeah, I've cursed my memory. Because I remember so much. So much. I don't wanna. I don't wanna. Man, this show has been fucked up today with technical difficulties. In the last 3 hours, we have dropped 6,898 frames of image, of video. Frames. That's almost 7,000 frames. Almost 7,000 frames lost. That's a technically fucked up show. Yeah, I remember some early shit. You know, yeah, like an elephant. Time is an elephant. Because it's all about memory. Yeah, I mean, time is irrelevant. No, it isn't. Time is everything. Time is everything. And it is not infinite. It only lasts as long as we last individually. I don't know how long I'm going to last after I'm gone. Right? Memory-wise, as far as this, all of this stuff, this channel, all of what I do, all that I am, and I am what I am. I don't know. It will probably last usually the way it lasts is it will last about 2 generations. Your memory, the memory of you and all that you are and were, will last about 2 generations. Your children and then your grandchildren who knew you. But after that, anybody who didn't know you only knows you through video or film or photographs or audio recordings or, you know, whatever you wrote. But that's it. Felonious monk. I'll give you a felonious assault. I may not make sense, but I'm quick. Totally. And you be sure to check out Mott the Hoople. My father used to tell me weird things and get me to believe them, right? And I was so gullible, and it made me so angry and jaded that now I make my daughter go through the same, only I let her know, you know, if I'm being silly or if I'm really telling her the truth about something that's unbelievable. But when my father told me there's a band called Mott the Hoople, I said, yeah, fuck you. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. There you go. I use the TV every night to go to sleep. My wife was watching something last night, and I just went to sleep during it because it was on. I'll usually have to put on a sleeping pill movie because I can't usually go to sleep during something that I haven't seen because it fucks with my brain, makes me active. So I'll put on something that I've seen a million times. I call it a sleeping pill movie. And then I know exactly when I'm going to fall asleep. I'll be asleep by here. And then I'll be gone. I'll be out. I'll just put it on a timer. And that's it. And I can't watch movies to go to bed by that I've never seen because it'll keep me awake. All the young dudes carry the news. Hot the moople. Hot the moople. Ah, jeez. Ah, jeez. Melonious thunk. No, really. I'm just the coffee entered my brain again. So one really planned but good part about my show is that I do it so early on the West Coast that nobody's going to watch it. Nobody I know, most of the people that I know are not going to get up and watch this. I do it because I don't have a life, and I assume others do it because others don't watch because they do have a life. And that's not to say that people who are watching don't have a life, but that's pretty much why I'm here, is because I need something to do. And I love time traveling, and I love everything that we talk about. So I'm like, well, why don't I just roll that up into a package? David Attenborough docs. There you go. Yep. Blue Planet. Yeah, see, now you got it. Now you got it. I like old radio shows. I can put on any old radio show and fall asleep, even if I haven't heard it before, because it's that nostalgic sound and tone. Pardon me. East Coast forever, baby. So, what are we gangs now? Are you going to start flashing gang signs? He'll be 100 this May. Wow. Attenborough. What an old guy. I've already turned 100 physically. I'm just hanging on. Just hanging on. Centenarian I'm never going to be. totally. But that's okay, because in the amount of pain that I'm in every day, I don't want to live to 100. Oh my God. Unless I can fix this, I'm like, anytime is fine. You missed Dimension X? Dude, it's all on my show. It's all on my channel. The entire series Dimension X is on my channel in a playlist. Just go through the playlists on my channel and find Dimension X. There's Dimension X, and there's 3 or 4 playlists of X-1. I think I have it by the year. Sharks and Jets. Are we still doing the gang stuff? And I'm back here. There was something trying to claw its way out of my face through my nose. So I'm a little bit better now. That's okay. It's an easy fix. It's a little tissue. It's a little tissue, and that's all it takes. But I'm better. Ooh, I'm so excited about tomorrow's show. Orson Welles thing. Listen to that one time. The Shadow knows. Oh yeah, the Shadow. Orson Welles, he was the king of radio, man. He was the king of radio. He had the Mercury House on the air, the Mercury House Players. He was guest on a lot of shows. Of course, he did War of the Worlds, which shook people up so much. It was great. It was great. And then he finally transitioned into film. But there was a period of time where he ruled radio, you know. And there is some Shadow on my channel. There's some of the Shadow. There's probably I think there's War of the Worlds there as well. And sometimes we play that on Halloween. We do War of the Worlds. I try not to repeat the Halloween or holiday stuff because everything is frozen in time on YouTube on my channel. So it's like adding to something and repeating something that's already been done. So I remember during my first season of the morning show, when I just had a chair and one camera and a little boom mic on a stand sitting in front of me on the floor. And I would put the microphone in front of my stereo speakers and put on an old radio show. I do a lot during the week. I try to do a lot of voices. And how weird that was. Because I knew I could get away with, having uploaded a couple of these things already, I knew I could get away with playing an old-time radio show. Just from the album, right? And that was pretty cool. So, what I may do is, and it's going to be kind of difficult, but is to put together a show of music that I can play from a record or tape right here live and do a live on-air radio show where I'm actually playing the music and pushing buttons rather than just clicking the mouse. So that would be fun. I would also love to eventually use all of my voices and do an old-time radio play, a little half-hour sci-fi drama adventure, something, you know, something. What it would be like to have my own little EBS players, right? And have a group of people that I could get together and work on a real live actual project once in a while. You know, whether it be screen or stage or audio or anything. Live art, performance art out on the street. Something, you know. And once a month get together and work on a project and then go out the next day and knock it out. Boom. Just fucking boom, right? And then just kind of boom, 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 boom. But without the booms, you got kind of like a babada. If you got a babada boom and a babada bing bang boom, then there I go, there I go, there I go. I can't help myself. So yeah, we're going to wrap it up at the top of the hour this morning in about 20 minutes or so. So hold off on your beer run and you're going to see the crack man down on the corner. You got to wait. You got to wait. If you're going to go stand in line at the pharmacy, you got to wait. All right? Because we're here. I'm here for you. So you got to be here for me, man. That's all I'm saying. Said it. The king and I. Because I am the king. The king and I am the king. The king and I am the king. 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 And I. You could just go round and round forever. He's stuck in a loop, man. No, he's just an idiot. Yeah. It's a mental thing. Performance this week. Appointments and maybe even ooh. You'll be out at 8 today. Ah. Okay, good. Awesome. David Cronenberg. Now that sounds familiar. Writer-director? Like a Michael Crichton? Right? Am I right? You'll have to tell me, because he kind of sounds like a Michael Crichton if my brain is working right. No, it's a date shake. We got great date shakes out here. Because they grow dates out here in the desert. Yeah. A hot date or a not date. A blind date or a fizzly date. Maybe. Oh, there you go. Cool. Cool. Yeah, I am so far removed from the idea of dating. Every once in a while, I will just look at my wife and go, "You want to go do something, right? You want to, I don't know, go out and get a drink?" Or she's like, "Nah, fuck it." And then we'll just sit here on the couch and have drinks, and that's about as scanners to fly, video drone. Okay, yeah. Now we're talking. Now I know who the Cronenberg is. The Cronenberg Meister. The Croninator. The Bergster. Totally. Yeah. Vladimir Stankinov. Totally. God, I got so many things on my plate and so little time to think about them. I think the only way that I'm really going to be able to go into this arcade thing fully is going to have to be when my daughter is out of school. Because I won't have that 4 days a week of driving and my schedule doing this every day. And I'll have her help. I'll have the extra time so I won't have to pull from this to do that. Otherwise, that's what I'm going to have to do. God. My channel is still getting stanky with technical difficulties. I'm up over 8,000 now. So we're back, I think. Technically, I think we're back. Is he the inventor of the body horror genre? Cronenberg? Cronenberg. Who did Rabid? Did he do Rabid? Was that Cronenberg? Body horror. Yeah, it sounds like it. It sounds like it, yeah. Whereas Michael Crichton was the kind of the medical side of it, where he was kind of investigating that kind of end of it, the kind of a body horror type thing, but on the other end of it. Yeah, because there are a few of his movies that are kind of like that. Plan, collect, and prepare. Totally. And that's what I think I'm going to be doing, is I'm just going to keep researching and figuring out how to get the money, because that's the most important thing, the money and the location. Everything else is pretty much easy to figure out. But getting the initial funds, and like I said, if I got to sell my van to rent a place to start the arcade, that's fine, because after a year, I'll buy 3 fucking vans. But I really need to, you're right, work on it, hone it all down and get tunnel vision. That's everything, you know. The show will probably suffer because I won't have as much time to invest into this. Yeah, he did Rabbit and Shivers. Okay, cool. Ravenous. Oh, that's one of those newer ones, right? Or is it an old? I don't remember. It all mushes together, which is why I try to just stay in the past. Yeah, there's something to be said for plan, execute, right? Because once you've got it all worked out 8 times, you've figured out so many ways that it could fail and go wrong, and you work those bugs out, right? My first idea is to just get enough money together to buy one machine, so that I can learn the machines, but also to prove that it's a physical, tangible thing that I'm reaching for. And here it is, and this is the first step, you know. The Brood, Dead Ringers, Naked Lunch. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Ravenous is older. Okay. I thought so. I think I've seen that somewhere. And the shitload of movies that I go through so many files of movies and commercials and news and TV shows and music. And it's just all through me. I will go into the computer and I will completely lose myself and not remember what the fuck I was even working on. Not super old. Okay. Totally, man. So let's see. I think this morning I'll get a little bit more coffee, have a cereal bar, and maybe put together another copyright check. Put together another copyright check for tomorrow's show, and try to bring that bubblegum digest as well. Well, I never. Well, maybe I have heard of it. When you've got those streaming channels, they're always throwing movies at you, right? Watch this, watch this, watch this. We got to pay the people. Watch it. If you don't watch it, then we're paying for nothing. I don't get it. I didn't think that was going to work. The whole streaming thing, right? People aren't going to pay a monthly fee, right, to watch stuff. They could just watch for free. And now everything is streamed, so you can't watch anything for free anymore. You have to stream it somewhere. You have to rent it somewhere, somehow. Even your favorite TV shows. because they were on TV, but as soon as they go into rerun, you can't watch them anymore. You can't get them anymore. You have to buy a DVD collection, or you gotta fucking stream them. Right? So the house is waking up. And we are going to be moving on this morning. What a great show. I really dig the new format, because it's more than just the show that I wanted to do, but it's more than I expected. It does more for me than I expected. I figured it was just going to be something to do, but it's more than that. It's learning, it's remembering, it's contemplating, cogitating. Can I get any more C's in there? Yeah, it's really cool, and it's neat to share all these silly little things that kind of make me who I am. Twist on the Donner Party incident. Great cast. Okay. Gotcha. Now I remember that. It's got Bill Bixby in it, and he turns green and tears out of his clothes. Or is that Bill Paxton? It's got Billy Barty in there, and they use him because they want to show that he's been half eaten but still alive. Don't eat the rest of me. I don't know. Where does this shit come from? You have to watch enough of this shit, and then you start to realize where my head is at and why I'm as weird as I am. Because this explains a lot of it. This show. These things that I'm into, these things that I like to watch and talk about. Yeah. You start to get it. Unless, of course, you're like that too, then you already get it. You're like, yeah, I understand. I'm a cook too. Alright, well, my signal keeps bouncing in and out. I don't know when I'm live and when I'm not anymore. All I can hope is that you're getting enough of the sound that you can understand what the fuck's going on. Because I don't know what the hell to do. I'm going to reinstall everything, reboot the system, clean everything up, and try to make it so that it doesn't do this again. But I can't promise anything. I can't promise anything. We are freaks. We are freaks. And if we're not, then we're lying. Because we're all freaks. We're all actually mutants. We're all freaks of nature, and we're mutants. You are just a mutation of your parents. You're just a kind of a sub-creation of a creation. Jeffrey Jones. Nightmares. Oh, Jeffrey Jones. Yeah, he's great. I love him in Howard the Duck. I love him in of course a modern movie, a Tim Burton movie, the Headless Horseman one, that one. But yeah, he's fucking great at anything he does. Yeah, it's Dr. Giggles. Ooh. Yeah, it's been giving me shit all morning. Every time I look over at it, I'm down to 1 or 2 bars, and my signal is half of what it should be. And I look at my monitor, and I'm stuck in some kind of stupid grin. It's been fucked up all morning. I'm amazed that we got through the first part of the show and you could still understand what the fuck was going on. Because now it's really giving me shit at a steady pace. Sleepy Hollow, that's it. That's the one. Sleepy Hollow. Yep. Right. Totally. Oh, Beetlejuice, yeah. In fact, I was just talking to my daughter last night about Mars Attacks and Beetlejuice, And what's besides the obvious Tim Burton, Agent Orange guy, besides the obvious connections, what's the tie, right, between those two movies, Beetlejuice and Mars Attacks? Something that connects them both, right? What is that? Mars Attacks and Beetlejuice. Yeah, totally. Yeah, her movies are popping up all over now. As my signal diminishes to 0 and back. So the question is, what is the connection between Mars Attacks and Beetlejuice? What's the connection besides the obvious Tim Burton and Orange Peel guy, Danny Elfman, right? What is the connection between the two movies? And don't look it up, don't Google it, because I know right now William is Googling it. Don't Google it. What's the connection? You have to tell me, because if you don't, I can't leave. I got 5 minutes left to wait for you to tell me what the connection is between Mars Attacks and Beetlejuice. Not Tim Burton, not Danny Elfman. What's the connection? What's the connection? Tell me. The skeletons. No. No. Those aliens are. Those are great. I love those aliens. Jeffrey Jones. No, it's not Jeffrey. He's not in either one of those. Is he? No, he's in Beetlejuice, but he's not in Mars Attacks. Right? I don't think he is. But you're on the right track. In the waiting room. Oh, no. No. The waiting room has something to do with it. It's after the waiting room. We're getting there, though. You're on the right track. Something after the waiting room. And something in Mars Attacks. You're very connected. Completely connected. I asked my daughter, and she's like, I don't know. I haven't seen the other movie in a long time, so I don't know. But Mars Attacks was on the other day, and I'm like, oh, I see. Huh. I see what they did there. Totally. But same skeletons in both movies. No. I don't think that's it. There is a character, an actor, in both films. That's the connection. And the actress was actually in that she was actually in the movies back in the 30s. She did a great movie with James Cagney, and I'm trying real hard to grab the title out of the depths of my brain. But if you recognize the caseworker in Beetlejuice, is the same lady who plays the old grandmother in Mars Attacks, that lives in the old folks' home, that listens to the weird music, has the cat named Muffy, the stuffed cat named Muffy that she pets with great aggressiveness. That is Sylvia Sidney. And she's been in a lot of great stuff. She was a looker when she was really young, back in the 30s and 40s. And she got older and she just stayed with it. And she's a career actress. And she stayed with it and just kept going. And the two characters are very, very different. If you watch Beetlejuice and Sylvia Sidney in that as the caseworker, and then you see her as the grandmother in Mars Attacks, two very different characters, you know, a decade apart, but just awesome. And she is fantastic. Sylvia Sidney is one of my favorite actresses who has spanned so many decades, right? All right, this is it, people. We got to go. So to sum it up here, we've got to look at some Pippi Longstocking stuff. I've got to write an I'm Taking a Pee song. And I've got to dig up some stuff for tomorrow's show and get that working. So there you go. I hope you enjoyed this morning's show about Tatum O'Neal and kind of dipping into the past and looking around and going, what the hell is all this shit about? So join me tomorrow morning for Totally Television Tuesday edition of the morning show. Hopefully, technically, you'll be able to hear me and understand what it is I'm doing, because I'm looking over and I'm seeing shitty numbers and signals here. So thank you for joining me. Take care of yourselves. Spread peace and love, not bullshit. Be kind to each other. Do something nice for yourself, but do something nice for somebody else too. Why? Because you got to. You just got to. It's human. Just fucking be nice, people. All right, love you guys. Take care of yourselves, and especially adios. Go on, get out of here, you kooks.